You know what? Live your truth.
Yep.
I
I'm living
strongly
it. I'm living
disagree.
it.
I think that the level for
London
both of
bileti
these
Madrid, bro.
teams is too high for that to happen. Somebody, and just based on those fundamentals,
Yeah.
just based on
She's
those
spitting.
fundamentals, he will be traded off sooner than he gets the ace.
Also,
Yeah.
if he gets greedy for it, they'll
good on
throw
him.
another like
Just-
5v4
just
starting
saying, guys.
around.
Just saying, it could happen. Pistol
It could
rounds.
happen. If
Yeah.
someone was
Yeah.
gonna
That's
do
what I
it.
mean. We went on the.
I'm just saying, my guy pops
That's
off.
why I was on both sides.
Yeah.
Hey, right, look at you. Okay, now this next one is going to be a fun one, all right? Gen G have a good chance to win their first major title at this event. How do we feel?
But Loud,
I mean-
Sentinels, Gen G, I think they're all in such similar form. I think it's so close. I favor Sentinels, but I think it's very possible for Gen G to win today.
I struggle with this statement because I would rate it mild, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that
Sure.
any result for Gen G after making it to here is already good enough. And even if they don't get the
But
title
what
of
sign
winners,
do you have?
No, come on.
Boo.
God,
Agree.
I know, I mean, I yelled at her for that, so to be
I
fair.
already got yelled at. It's time.
No, it's trickle
trickle
down
down,
yelling.
yeah.
Trickle down yelling. Okay.
That works famously.
I
have a
am
good chance, yeah.
going to go with disagree,
Okay.
unfortunately. I do think that the reason why I'm not saying strongly disagree is only because there's always that possibility in my mind, especially with how they've been playing. But I just feel like Sentinels is really just feeling
I'm
it right
kind of
now.
a
It's scary.
turncoat here.
You're a turncoat.
I think the map pool works well for Sentinels today, especially they're almost
Yeah.
guaranteed to get to
Yeah.
play Split or Sunset. I think both those maps are going to be a gimme for them, and I really see it being highly likely for them to pick up another in the pool. And then I think
I agree with that one.
the team who wins this match today, is so likely to win the grand finals because
Yeah.
as we already discussed,
Totally.
Yeah.
double ban, extra prep time, that is so important. I think it's unlikely, but it's nowhere near impossible, especially if they win today.
All right, so we have time for a fourth one.
Okay.
This one would have been on the chopping
little
block.
treat.
Nice.
But I'm curious, so let's see what we end up getting, all right? The finals will be a regional rematch. Whoa! I mean, but which way?
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
I think I know the way,
Which
but...
way do you
No.
think?
You
It's
said
Pacific.
regional rematch. You didn't say what way. So strongly
Pacific
agree. Either
Pacific
one or
and-
the
Wait, it's a 50% chance.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
50% chance
Yeah.
they're right or wrong.
Oh, boy.
Wait, is
no,
that how
but-
percentages work? Chad, is this
Yes.
true?
That's exactly how it works. I know a lot about numbers. I strongly agree. I think that especially Sentinels, after the pressure that they were put on yesterday, having such a strong start, making it into 2 overtimes and being able
Here's
to...
your American visa. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
You-
This is my green card?
Yeah. It's your green sign. I don't know if that's how that works.
Give it to
I
me,
know
Alex.
this is all over the place because they said that they were going to go on a run, but
Me, when I contradict my... Honestly, based. It's so
if
close.
there's one thing hosts are great at, it's contradicting ourselves on a regular
That's
basis. So the reason why is because I would like to see a non-regional matchup. This is more what I want versus what I think will happen.
But hear me out. We're getting, right now, today, we're getting seed 1 versus seed 1 and seed 2 versus seed 2. Is that
Correct.
not good enough?
It is. It
Nothing's
is.
ever good enough for him.
You
I
know,
don't know what that
I'm
means.
just... You guys are going to break me. This is too much for me to handle. Okay, folks, we asked you earlier in the day, well, just like a couple minutes ago, Massacre fan poll, and the question was, who do you think's going to be going to the grand
Sentinels
finals?
will never lose a fan poll.
Yeah, I feel like, you
Did
know...
you hear that? That's people cheering for Sentinels. when they
Yeah,
win a fan poll.
I'll take the 71 though. That's pretty strong. But I do think though, if we kind of remove the funnies from it for a second, it does make a lot of sense,
Sure.
right? I mean, Kukuka, what we've been seeing from this Sentinels team has been so impressive. The way that they've been able to put this lineup together and really not just find an identity, but find camaraderie, I think has just been so awesome to watch.
I strongly agree.
I also strongly agree.
With what you're saying, completely based, Alex. But hear me out. I think that for today, I'm going to double down on Gen G is doing a quiet round. They're literally
Fair.
motivational quote. They want to keep the expectations. As I said, any further than they can take it is already a huge win for them. But I want to see them take it further.
All right, well, let's go ahead and find out where we're going to be playing. And, well, let's go ahead and take a listen in for our map selection.
Pacific and
Welcome to Map Select, presented by
Paris,
Omen. Both of these
Paris,
teams
Paris.
came into this match with the same seed and the same record. So therefore, it was a coin flip that was done before this that ended up being Sentinels Team A, Gen G Team B. So we will jump into the pick ban phase. Sentinels, your first ban.
Ban Icebox.
Ban Icebox, your ban.
Ban Sunset.
Sunset, map number 1 from Sentinels.
Pick Split.
Split, side on Split.
Attack.
Attack, and map number 2.
Ada kaki tuh, biarin nih. Biarin deh ini. Mungkin. Terus play. Kemana? Ah iya bener, kemarin kan. Kalah sama FPX. Dia juga kan mungkin dalam tekan gue kok tahu banget bro. Ada apa nih lama kali kalian?
Lotus.
Lotus. Side on Lotus.
Attack.
Attack. All right, next set of bans sitting with Sentinels. You have Ascent, Bind, and
Attack.
Breeze.
Ban Ascent.
Ban Ascent, you're banned. You have Bind and Breeze.
Ban Bind.
Ban Bind. Map number 3 by default is going to be Breeze. Sentinel, side on Breeze.
Attack.
Attack. All right, good luck to you both.
Thank you. Good luck.
Attack, good luck to you both. Give me
A lot of deliberation there. We don't have a lot of time, but I want to break this down real fast. Split, first map.
They had to pick their poison. Sunset or
Yeah.
Split. Sunset is a map Gen G plays way less of. I think Split is going to be so hard for them to win. If they're to win this series, Gen G, it has to go to Breeze.
Yeah, exactly. And when we talk about knowing the teams, knowing the fundamentals, a split comp with the double duelist is something that you need to know to a T.
Yes.
We've also had some show-ins of it, and if the preparation is there, I think that this overall takes a bit of an edge for Sentinels.
Lotus is the pick of Gen G, but it's still a scary map. Both these teams play that same standard Fnatic comp with the Fade, with the Raze, and honestly, they both execute on it incredibly well. I think they're the two strongest teams on that map
Totally.
that are still left in the tournament. So that's kind of a coin
on
flip.
splits.
This is going to be such a tough series for Gen G.
It's
Yeah.
going to be tough, but it's definitely this. If I could choose just 2 maps to see this 2 teams playing it, it would have definitely been Split and Lotus.
Yeah.
I know that Sunset was out of the question.
Yeah, well, it looks like we got our gift, and this is going to be incredible. But folks, let's get this show on the road because we have great matches on the table. It's grand finals on the line. Gen G versus Sentinels, Paper X versus Loud. Day 7 of Masters Madrid starts right now.
Wih.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 6 of Masters Madrid.
Neymar ya? Kali ada Neymar kan?
It feels amazing to have a tournament like this, like VALORANT Master, right near my home. I dream about this and now it's real. I'm so excited.
There is no chance, there is no hope. Sentinels, inevitable. Sen look incredible here to take their appointment with Gen G in the upper finals.
I feel good about our win against Loud. I think as a team we played really good overall, and I think we showed a good version of ourselves.
There's no chance. There's no chance whatsoever. Gen G, 13-9. It's on to the upper final.
뭐 사실 세계 대회에서 이렇게 성적을 좋게 내본 적도 없고 그리고 작년까지만 해도 세계 대회라는 것을 밟아본 적이 없기 때문에
Gen G, they play very slow and methodical, but at the same time they have very individually talented players.
이제 새로 리빌딩이 되면서 이제 팀원들과 친해지려고 노력을 많이 했고
Gen G definitely look like a tough opponent, but if people can't stop us, that's not our problem.
그리고 우리가 만약 이긴다면 젠지 번들을 꼭 사길 바랍니다.
Where are you guys from?
Madrid.
From Madrid, yeah.
From Spain.
Sentinels, we are supporting Sentinels.
Yeah.
I'm Paper Rex. Jason Susanto is the GOAT.
What do you think of his beatboxing?
It's
This
really
is
good,
Santo.
actually.
This is Santo, it's the good.
When we go lower bracket, no matter we win or lose, we will like improve very fast. And hopefully in lower bracket, we will show you guys on our improvement.
Ir pra lower bracket é difícil, deve ser frustrante pra vocês assistirem, assim como é pra gente perder um jogo tão close. Mas faz parte,
Mas
somos
sedih tuh
humanos, a
ini.
gente também erra. A gente vai consertar tudo que a gente fez de errado nesse jogo pra tentar
Kalah
ganhar.
gitu kasihan banget.
Lot is a bit like us.
Oh,
They're really strong. They're also creative.
Mau ketiga ya. Di Xbox-nya tuh
A
nggak
gente já
jelas
venceu
kan.
times com esse estilo de jogo, então a gente vai saber lidar com eles.
For Loud, I'm just gonna go all in this match. And I hope you guys enjoy our WKB.
Vamos, lad.
Vamos now! Go Paper Rex! Mark my words, Paper
Dua
Rex
mak
for the
doang
winning!
katanya. 3 mak yuk. Ya benar ternyata ya. Sunset juga kayak ayam man.
Bienvenidos a Madrid. Eso no.
Pertama kayaknya nggak dibully-bully ya, nggak jelas. Parah lebih bagus kemarin. Pistolan menang, Bayern kalah mulu.
Genji.
Ring BO5 tuh. Power sama green. Besok BO5
A grand final spot is on the line, as well as history. Both teams looking to do something massive for their organizations. For Sentinels, it's about going back to championship form and fighting for a crown yet again. And for Gen G, it's not just about establishing Pacific as a strong region, Kukuka.
Yep.
It's about Gen G establishing themselves as a top-tier team in Valorant.
Exactly, Alex. Seed 1 is no longer enough. Both of these teams want the first spot in the grand finals. They want to be the top one out of the entire world. And of course, the journeys have been a bit different and so similar at the same time, maybe.
The last time that Sentinels played a Korean team in the upper finals of an international event, it was over 1,000 days ago. Sen won that. They went on to win Valorant's first international LAN and haven't made it back to a final since. So much about this team has changed since then. Only TENS remains, but he's a completely new player from the star-locking Jet way back when. The difference as well for Gen G is wild. Back then, it was solo, playing alongside Lakia, who he's now coaching. They lost that match. It was the deepest the Korean team has ever gotten. They have a chance to make up for that again today against this new Sentinels.
Crazy. I mean, when you set the stage and you really think about how this has all come together, it is absolutely mind-blowing. The fact that Sentinels, a team that people were clowning on, and now they are the top of the mountain. Gen G, I feel people were forgetting about them, and this is their opportunity.
To some point, people are still forgetting because we have seen the miraculous runs before. There has been teams that have been breathtaking. EDT last year made us dream.
Yes.
But it was most of it was because of Kangan. They had that one-star player that everybody was looking at. For Gen G, as I said, it's quiet. It's the group effort. It's actually relying on those fundamentals and how far
Sum
they
of
can
all of its
take them.
parts.
Exactly.
What's crazy is that people are still doubting this team. They've done this run quietly. They haven't gotten the same fan attention as a team like Sentinels. They haven't shocked in that same way, but they have consistently performed and played excellent Valorant throughout. Their players have come out with unbelievable form. Remember Karen, he's a rookie. His first global event. He played his first VCT match this year, and now he's a game away from the finals.
He doesn't care. And that's the wilder part about this as well. Because you would think like, oh, the pressure's on, but it feels like for all 10 of these teams, they just feel confident walking onto that stage, and oh boy, it's going to be a good one. But here we go, Split. What we got for the comps?
Gen G is going into Sentinel's home turf. They have been incredible on this map thus far. Their defense looks indomitable. And Gen G are playing a very different comp. They go for the double duelists on this map. They're very reliant on Texture and Meteor to be set up for insane individual performances on this double dive. That's how they beat Paper X.
Yeah, exactly. Probably one of the reasons why they decide to start on the attack. If they want to start with a strong foot, it has to be throughout very explosive rounds. So watch out, because the retakes for Sentinels have been on point this event.
If Gen G can beat Sentinels on their best map, there is no denying that this team is ready for a trophy.
Well, folks, this is it. It's now time to figure out who's going to be going to the grand finals. Will it be Sentinels? Will it be Gen G? We got two excellent casters to tell this story. It's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy, Mimi, and Kakuka. We've got a barn burner of a game here. Sentinels looking to reclaim their former glory, while Gen G have a serious opportunity to make Korean history.
Well, that's the thing. You look back in the history of Valorant, 1,029 days ago, TenZ sent Newturn down to that lower bracket from the upper final, a chance for a final, and on that team you had Lakia and Coach Solo. A lot has changed since then, but I can tell you now that Lakia will be there looking for revenge. It is a grudge match with so many stories, and we're kicking it off on Sentinel's home turf of Split.
They have been, without a doubt, the best team we've seen on Split in recent memory. Gen G have a hell of a task, starting it out on their opponent's map pick with Lotus up next, and as we saw in the veto, it'll finish out on Breeze. Gen G didn't want to pull Bind into the mix. Lucky is probably happy about that. Bad memories from back in the day. As we start out the pistol round, Sentinels on the defensive side, 2 ghosts and a spread defense, but they're looking to crunch on mid after contact. For Gen G, they've got players outside A and some looking to move into mid. It looks like we're going to have a scrap on our hands.
Yeah, if we've seen anything from this match or this matchup, we know that Gen G are fantastic at adapting and learning. They played Paper X in the regular season on this map, ended up coming back in this tournament and demolishing them on it. Meteor, though, in this round, he's just looking to sell a bit of a ruse, and he has done. A push coming down mid, but the rest of Sentinels are all rotating over towards that B site. Not a member even in the right half of the map.
This is a pistol round that plays out a lot less like a coin flip. Both teams reactively waiting on mid. Nothing happens, so the fake info on A is given away, and the space is taken. Very nicely handled the setup for a post-plant situation. Sentinels send in a dog and some util, though, and they're going to deny the plant altogether. But in the chaos, Texture's able to pick up one, and the nade buys them space. They can secure the site now, get a plant, and look to play after. Meteor's also snuck up behind TenZ. Didn't matter with Lakia shutting him down, and these other players now locked in towards the spawn. Up top is Zelsis alone, but there's still some fight left in Sentinels. They don't want to give this round up just yet.
Yeah, had to be a fallback from Gen G, not wanting to overextend.
Wait, io mati, cu?
Karen still, though, holding on to some control, and they've spotted out Zelsis. They know where both of these players are at this stage, and with the positions they currently hold, it's definitely not going to be easy for the side of Sentinels to get back into this one. Running out of time, need to try and isolate one of these jewels, and with the spot already coming in, the rest of the players line up like a firing squad. All left onto John QT. He's been fantastic in clutches, but it's not happening this time. Gen G, they will take the pistol.
And again, just the patience shown by this attacking side. You saw, as we said, Sentinels off-rip, look for mid-control. They don't get it. The fake is made by Gen G, making noise on A, taking space, and they walk into B for free. A post-plant, the idea to just send the 2 players in spawn and they sit there, waiting, running the clock down. John QT couldn't go out and fight with his teammate because he's worried about a flank coming up through heaven. This is a really nice pistol round from the side of Gen G. I do like Sentinel's ideas as well, because they laid a trap. Just Gen G were too wise to fall into it. Now on the attack side, you know, it's an interesting buy, Tom. I have to say, Texture is surprising me, because I'll talk all day long about the benefits of playing this Outlaw. I just don't expect to see it on the attack that often, but he's found success with it right off rip. Nobody on the defense has shields, so this weapon, even if they have light shields, which they don't, it's still going to be an operator. 2 shots, very fast movement, and a quick reload.
It's a round as well, though, where realistically, nothing really for their opponents to be playing with. Sentinels just saving up for the next round. it does mean that you want to keep it clean. Meteor, the only player that can really go down without being too much of a detriment. And obviously getting that extra information is a decent start. Zeka finding one. That's a spike down for John QT as well. This is starting to get worrying.
Well, Texture's down to 13 HP as well. You know, he's pretty much in an even fight regardless of who he takes on. That heal needed to come through. Luckily, there's been some time. As that clock runs down, the health goes back up for Texture, 100 HP. Lakia and Munchkin there to fight with him, but they have to walk into the open to take that spike into a big crossfire in play for Sentinels. Instead, they're going to take some space in Heaven, get that little bit of extra space to play with, and here comes a snake bite. It's not gone fully into the corner. Still a nade to play with for Texture, flash for Lakia, but they're caught off guard, and Zeus is intense! Pick off both up top! That's a disaster for Gen G! Now 1-1 after winning the pistol.
Yeah, an instant response with the MasterCard Thrifty and maybe some jitters for Gen G, because that was a heavy investment. 4 players with rifles. Already you're seeing the initial switch being won, and really isolated fights, like the spike going through the smoke on its own for Karan. That is an uncharacteristic error for someone like him. We've been singing his praises about his positioning, his movement, especially after the switch to Omen. I felt like he was fantastic. And that is a really rough way to kick off your attack. Rifles now fully bought up on what was meant to be an easy victory. Well, now Sentinels have the same chance.
Gen G with just a few pistols will struggle immensely on this. Now, we've seen this a couple times, this poison orb thrown up over right at the start of the round from Munchkin. It's causing a lot of problems for that Sentinels defense with the fact that he can slip out to the right side. You're going to need a trap there, which can obviously be broken by some of Texture's utility if he lobs it through. So it's not going to be that consistent. And if you leave it unchecked, well, someone's going to be sneaking through it in some round. You never know when. Always in the back of your mind. Now, the mid-hold, very strong for Sentinels. I don't imagine there's too much trouble. The close range engagement, though, catches Zelsis off and 10-2. Looks like I should have kept my mouth shut. We're all of a sudden in a 5 versus 3. Showstopper popped and fired at random. It doesn't land, but they've got a huge advantage to play with here. Sassy needs to hold strong.
He's in a good position, though. Already dropping a first, but the trade is instantaneous, keeping that huge advantage. What a chaotic start to this map already. The delay already put into position. Munchkin in a good spot, has a teammate alongside him, may not even need it. And it's
nice.
MasterCard Thrifty straight back, getting their money's worth in the early stages of this game.
They bought hardly anything here again, Tom.
They bought more than Sentinels.
That's true. You know, it's a hell of an argument for the bundle, but there's a few Sheriff shots landing there with the classic assists on the back of it. Just absolutely insane to see this in the first 3 rounds.
That's
back and forth.
That was Zelsis' orb as well that went down, because the other one was thrown in B-main.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're
that
right.
means that he got caught by his own utility. Again, it's an error
Lagi taunting
from either
gitu
side.
nggak apa-apa, Jok.
In the early
Masukin
stages,
sekarang.
made mistakes.
What the hell?
That's one hell of a start. They've still got a couple of rifles. It's definitely not the prettiest of buys, but even still, somehow the team with the weaker has got off to a good start.
Well, that's it, because they happen to take the fight up against one of the players who has that rifle. And John QT, other side of the map, he's running the Phantom, now actually swapping over. Gonna be Sen and 10s towards A. But for the side of Sentinels, those 2 rifles, they stand a good chance in any fight. Those pistols, though, they're left to do a lot. The whole mid-control is around those
so
pistols.
much info.
They want to be playing this off the utility. That's the nade going through, forcing them back, doing some damage, too. Karen's now down to 83. I was a little bit of decay as well. The orb had gone up.
They got a rifle, but because of that neural theft, they used it to check if anybody was holding the rifle. So that's now a 3rd gun picked up from Sentinels. So they have boosted this quite a bit. 40 seconds left, 3 players still within the B site, but you still have 10s with a Paranoia available to him. Nothing really on Zelsis though, so it is going to be onto him.
Allah.
Oh, and he's forced out of position. That Paranoia, it's landed on the players further up, and one was blinded. Caught by the trap, another now inside, and well, he's gone. 2 kills with a classic for Zelsis. He's being wrapped on at least a chance to shut him down. One that they must realize. Meteor, there we go. It's a connection with 12 seconds left, and the spike's gone up into heaven, dropped. Even if the last kill wasn't found, I don't think they were getting that one done. 2-2.
You're never going to believe this, but that was a MasterCard thrift. I don't
What
know
the-
what's happening.
Is that the first one we've seen so far?
No, I believe it's the third.
Third in a row.
This is such a peculiar game. Now, obviously, because both teams are still sort of building up finances.
What is this?
The next one's not going to be, but if you've ever seen an advertisement for buying the SEM bundle, that is 2 kills off the back of Zelsis, the man who's been plugging it this entire event. We're never going to hear the end of it.
Zelsis itu yang itu ya? Gue kira itu John Kitty.
Well, at least they're
Kok masih
feeling it
kena
too.
trap?
Kaplan with his thrifty calls. Forgot the MasterCard in front of it, but I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him this once.
Saya bisa nembakin di dalam ini juga.
I'm
Dalam
not going to be too
kitchen.
happy about the back and forth nature of this early game, especially the fact that they got caught by not being able to shoot the traps. It's a little unfortunate, but these things happen. There was a combo of util again thrown towards them, making it that little bit more awkward. They try to take some fights.
How
That's
has he
unlucky.
not destroyed that?
Yeah, I'm starting to think Sentinels have got some sort of trap abuse going on. They're not taking the bullets.
Look at Meteor, though. He's just about to walk in. Sassy might be caught unaware. Got so far forward before anybody really realized. 10's up above. Has support from Zelsis, but this will be an afterplant. This time, I don't think there's any denial. And Meteor hasn't stopped his push. He's still going forward.
It's a lot of space to take, a position you usually expect, but the big difference to this is Karen. He's also there with a paranoia in hand, and it's about to come through. There it is, the step was heard. But luckily, those players are able to round the corner just in time. Nade, not really going to force Meteor back, but he falls back anyways, concedes the space. They're going to commit utility to trying to clear that back out, at least in his mind, but the paranoia is kept in the back pocket. Now burned up to go towards elbow. Here comes the blast pack from Zekin. He's towards the side, picking up Karen, and Zelsis had opened up the rest, leaving Meteor alone, doing so much damage. It looks like Munchkin was able to catch an angle, and with the snakebite landed, he's buying a little bit more time. Tens has to run for the hills now. There's no time left with another found. Gen G take the lead. It's not quite a MasterCard thrifty, but it is a Red Bull
dapat 2 ya.
clutch.
Untung mati juga tuh
The
John Kitty.
script really is just paying dividends at this point. A round break back for Gen G. Coming off the clutch, again, we talk about Sentinels in these retakes, and they're phenomenal. Just being able to come in from behind, isolating these fights, and even after the aggressive positions that were held. But as Munchkin,
Gua kira peluru nyasar
the
tadi ya.
leader of the team, someone who's been highlighted so many times by different members of his roster to help elevate, well, this time, he's done it individually.
Get out of my way.
Straight away, Blade Storm popped. The pacey side of this round looking to come out as they take early space towards this A site. Pit already into mid, but straight over the top goes Meteor. He's looking to pressure.
Ya
I
ampun,
thought he
bisa
might have
gitu
had
ya.
that for free, but the cage blocked off just enough to give him that little bit of space to work with. Still a player on B and one in mid. Gen G have a lot of space. You don't expect to see a Sentinels crunch just yet. And look at how much they're keeping in their back pocket for the eventual fight. A paranoia is still to work with. Almost every piece of utility, the big ones online. One flash just popped by Sassy, but Meteor turns. The blades are used up. Look, they're not finished. Slovakia went charging forward, even though his teammate had fallen back a little disjointed.
Nice.
Gen G, but Munchkin capitalizes on the chaos.
Nice.
And keeps having control.
Munchkin emang ini bagus
For
nih,
them to
Cok.
play with. And now Sentinels even send Sassy back to reclaim it, buying so much time as only John QT's on the site, flanked out and distracted by Meteor. The clock is running down. Munchkin late flanks up through heaven, and the classic flank's awkward. The knife kill is in, but it's too little, too late. Again, the time is enough for Gen G to claim the round.
Yeah, we've finally seen our second round in a row after what was a crazy back and forth. It is Gen G to come out on top, but again,
Kita mau
it was
reload
close.
nanti.
And John QT comes out with a knife. Munchkin, though, he has got off to a fiery start. The way that he's been playing, the way he's been punishing them as they try to rotate. His late flanks in the back line have been
Ya
so
ampun, malah saya
problematic.
bisa.
It's the spike to do the job. 4-2 in the lead. As said, this has been Sentinel's home turf. We even saw the video earlier, John QT saying, well, you know, it's his favorite map, and you can understand why. 4 back-to-back victories. 7 of the last 8 won on this map. But, as said, Gen G have been so fantastic at adapting. They beat EDG, they beat PaperX, they've been evolving throughout this tournament. It's not going to be easy, just because this map is solid for Sentinels.
Good cancel of the dog with a deep snake bite. Gen G denied some more information around mid. Looks like the
Suara
rotates are
kucing apa
underway.
itu?
Swinging all the way back to the B side.
Konser kucing kamu.
Sentinels have been able to win with pistols before. Some ultimates to back them up. On the side of Gen G, though, Munchkin's game has been fantastic. Just last round, the way he played and controlled Heaven in the late game, it allowed that spike to explode. Now he's got a Viper's Pit, thanks to his hard work. Seekers as well, but they're not used. Instead, it's going to be dashed straight out in front of the Seekers. Meteor, though, he's caught. He can't quite see anything for a moment, but as the Cloudburst fades, he's able to find a target. Nice headshot, but the wall gets in the way. Sassy holding on to life barely, and he'll eventually be shut down with the Viper's Pit in. This becomes a hard round to win, but a showstopper popped. It's going to be a gamble from Zek, and he has to pick a spot, and he's found Karen, but landed with his back turned to Munchkin. A quick execution leaves John QT alone.
What the hell?
You're down. There's a chance. That's the hat popped off the head. Munchkin fires right back.
This guy has been so good so far. I just love watching his reposition within that Viper's Pit. He hears the showstopper, he goes, what's the chance of him shooting it straight down? Yeah. Very, very low. You're going to try and hit towards that plant spot. So he repositions forward into that Viper's Pit and just manages to isolate the battle, takes him out, and then this, I'll be honest, this was just prediction. Knowing that his opponent would eventually try and catch him on the ping, it has been such a worldy of a game. And here's someone as well. This is his 7th, I believe.
Kalau lagi itu juga dimasukin aja suaranya.
Has ever finished is 9th to 10th. He went through the likes of Crazy Raccoon in the past, a team that never really achieved anything. As mentioned, he has already got top 3. This man is going for so much more.
Yeah, they were Crazy Raccoon. I remember a good regional team, but once they came to the international stage, and for a lot of Munchkin's teams, they just got tested in a way that they couldn't stand up
Gambit,
to. Yeah,
and it ended.
And actually, even Munchkin's runs, it was always playing the same teams twice. Like it happened against Foot, it happened against Gambit. I can't remember the other team, but there was definitely a back-to-back as well. This guy always ends up facing a team and then coming back and being eliminated by them later on.
That's the thing.
That's how he got here.
Yeah, give credit to him as someone leading. And he's leading by example right now. He's forced Sentinels into a position where they're taking a pause. And again, you look at some of the results. This is a team that, well, they played Loud a couple of times in their last 4 matches. Loud only managed 4 rounds and 3 rounds. So Gen G are already way far and above a lot of the teams that Sens have had to battle against. Interestingly, again, we're actually going to see that Outlaw onto Lakia. Clearly having a lot of faith in this gun, but having your Sky play it, that's intriguing.
If I wasn't already a fan of Gen G, I'll tell you what, I'm going to need a jersey after this one. I've been complaining all tournament, all month long about how little this is being used, and they're coming in attack side on Split. And
on Sky as well.
On Sky, yeah.
Has he been watching Yumpties? Is that what's happening?
It could be. It could be. He's learning from the best. Well, 5 on the board already for Gen G, as we said. This was not going to be a pretty start from what we guessed, at least. Split has been terrifying, like you're saying. But Gen G have already far exceeded expectations. They've got a commanding lead early on, even after a scrappy beginning, even after denial of the second round. I thought that was the start of the end, Tom. I was starting to worry. But here we are, round number 8, and Gen G have another chance to extend this lead. Sentinels down to their last credits and used all their ultis very recently.
They've been doing this a lot. Meteor left in a lurk. He's been able to take quite a lot of space. Now, this is space that's given up. John QT has his cam, consistently watching. And with only 40 seconds left, we're seeing this late clear into middle. Now, a lot of this was probably off the idea that, okay, we could have double back through and taken control into Heaven. Cam already going to be gone, but now with 30 seconds left, they look to head into this stacked up side. Sentinel and Viper. It's never easy to get past this util, but they're beginning to predict it, and now they have to try and clear the players.
A good trap by John QT, a little closer, 12 seconds left. And there's still some harassment on the side. John QT drops the spike. 8 seconds left. But players up in Heaven surely not able to deny. No nade, nothing to clear them from position. And the fight's going towards Gen G. Zekin, full HP. But one hit to that Outlaw, Tens, one hit to damn near anything. Zekin closes the distance, but a shot to the head from Texture pretty much seals the fate of this one. With Tens having 2 players to drop and Munchkin way ahead of him on that fight. 6 rounds now for Gen G. A solid A take and Sentinels left with scraps for the next round.
But the crazy thing about this is a lot of the setups that are being put into play by
Oh, iya,
Sen
Chan.
are actually catching players. So look at Jung QT right now. He's 12 and
Belum
5
ada
because they are running into his
pentas.
trips. He's getting an opening kill, but every single time there's a response from Genji. That's been one of the things I've
Last
loved about
games.
this team is the trading is on point. They are so quick and so committed as well. You're going into a site with 20 seconds left. There are so many variables that you have to look for, but this team is ready to trade whatever comes their way.
Bikin franchise
With
tuh
8
ada.
seconds left, they get that spike down, and from then on, it looked like plain sailing.
That's the point where most teams start to panic. It's the point where I start to panic a little bit, but they were just
panicking for them.
yeah. I can only imagine being in the coaching seat. You're screaming about the time left, but they had it all under control. Cool as a cucumber. As we go into round number 9, Sentinels, as we said, they've got scraps, and the pistols are apparent to us. There's only a few ghosts, a sheriff. This is a round that they've won before, so you have to be careful. And, well, caution to the wind for TenZ. He goes through the orb and falls right down. Let's see what else we've got, though. The weapon's going to be upgraded, and there's still some util to play with.
This is the thing, we've been hyping up controller players all the way through this event. We've talked about Karom. We've talked about the likes of TenZ. Maybe we underestimated Munchkin. Because right now, he is on an absolute tear. Again, just the patience. You're going to see the gamble. I don't really blame Sen at this point. They've had so many late A takes that they're reading into the fact that, okay, this is going to be A. And what happens? Texture just walks a little stroll straight in towards this B site. A round that now already looks over. Yeah, sure, the Sentinels retakes have been good historically. But if they pull this one off with a couple of ghosts, a classic, and a sheriff, well, we're going to be marveling at that for a long time.
Yeah, there's something special about doing it in a post plant on your way back through a site like this with essentially a quick fire, a semi-automatic 2-shot op in play for Lackey with everybody on light shields. It really is one of those rounds where you start to think about just going down to the spike, maybe dropping some weapons if Genji do get a bit aggressive. And, well, that's a bit what in the world is that? What? Of all the ways to use that weapon, of all the ways I thought I'd see that weapon used, running through your own nade to double hip fire.
Dia pengen pakai rifle, so.
That was not on my
Pengen pakai rifle kayaknya.
I didn't see that
Kalau dibuang kan sayang.
Hey, you know what? They've got the credits to play with. It's a gun that he doesn't necessarily need to bring forward. In fact, he's going to buy straight back into a rifle again.
No, that's the only request I have.
The thing is, his opponent's not going to pick it up. So realistically, all that's happened there is Lackey has gained an orb and maybe wasted a little bit of extra credits. But that's the thing. Again, it was spoken about in an interview with Alex after their last match. He said that it just feels like Genji have a great read on us. At the moment, it's looking like they have a great read on Sentinels as well, because the way they've started this match off, they've gone the right way every single time. The paranoia, decent, but the counter there, TenZ will be able to keep his life, and the aggression quelled for a second.
And look how quickly they've got a response. There's 4 players from Sentinels here. Make that 3. TenZ is down. Zel's
Lagi bro.
falling.
Nice. GG.
4th player swinging. And that is about as bad of an attacking start as you could expect, in that they run into the entirety of the defense, and they still win it. Not only win it flawlessly. That's how this game is going for Genji right now.
They genuinely took about 40 damage across the board in those fights. It's absurd. Again, this time Sentinels had the perfect read. They had the expectations, they had the rotations, they had the players in position, and they lose every single fight.
Belajar coba dibanding
All he
sebelumnya.
can do at this point is just
Man
look
kalah
forward
mereka.
onto the rifle, but the credits are flowing for Genji. Of course they're going to try and hunt him down.
Yeah, why not? There's no hassle even for most of these players dying. I'll take an orb and give you 1 towards a neural theft. No worries.
It's great, you can have 2.
Yeah, have them all, mate. Have the ult.
Aduh.
He's got 1 at least, with Munchkin down and the others maybe a little too far away. Texture, no blast pack.
Safe now.
Nade, but it's not even going to blow up in time. So, 8-2. This is a scoreline that I think, hey, I actually don't think is that surprising. One team having 8, the other team having 2. The fact that it's Gen G with
Kan
the
kalau mereka
on their attack
split
side
juga
so
kemarin
far,
kan.
little surprising. The fact that we've actually, I would say,
Mantap, 13
most of this
lawan.
game so far, I've been complimenting Gen G, pushing and pulling the map, finding open sites, being able to run into the lighter side of the defense. Then we see what happens if they run into the entire defense, and they still win the round flawlessly. What else? What other kind of challenge can you present?
But that's the thing. I think going into this match,
Ibris.
it was
Biar
almost
disadar dong.
unequivocal that Sentinels were the best team in the world on split. We might have to reevaluate that after this map, because right now it's not looking particularly close. There needs to be some sort of response here for Sentinels. They brought back in again the ults, not particularly close, at least the powerful ones. Looking to put pressure on. Looking to try and deny Meteor. He's going to go straight
Alah,
through.
kambing nggak kena.
If he waited a second, I think he actually gets the kill, but he's still going to be able to survive. They've used a lot of utility to try and shut this man down, and he's not taking a lick of damage. Zelsis, though,
Alah.
the timing here could be everything.
Ada.
He's got his eye on, perfect. Looks for a big play, and he's found one. 2 kills down, the first time they've really managed to catch them off guard. Texture falls, and just 2 remain. Meteor looking for a move. He's at least going to get one. A quick snap back. Make this one a little bit competitive, and the man they're up against has been insane.
Heal through for Zelsis. It's not going to be an easy fight on any front. He's choosing the harder of the two. Just 1 player towards the spawn. Whoops. There we go. 1 player towards the spawn, but 2 up top. Make that 3 now as they come into position. No snake bites. That orb only going to block vision, maybe add some decay, give him an opportunity, though, to play up top with the shorty. I like him trying to create some opportunities, but ultimately too big of a task for anyone to take. 8-3, and the last round could see Sentinels find a 4th, Tom. That is not something I was ready
Ikut
to
maju
say.
dia jauh tuh.
The good thing for Sentinels fans out there is we have seen mass landslide victories for the side of Sentinels on either side of the map. They have proven it time and time again. Look at their last match versus Loud, 9 rounds. So they can do it. It's not a death sentence, especially if they can get to 4, but it's the manner in which Gen G have been winning that does make me doubt that. And they're going straight back to the bread and butter. The A take has been fantastic. TenZ has been able to delay them at least a little bit, and the Seekers are going to give things away. The nade from Zekken is good as well. They've got off to a strong start.
Yeah, the util through from Sassy as well helps out. They're blinded and paranoid by TenZ, who's now making his appearance up top. Boombot through, it's found a player, and the bullets soon follow. Only 2 left standing for Gen G. A healthy recovery for Sentinels towards the end of the half. It was looking a little bit shaky, but they found their footing now. And actually, I maybe even spotted both players there. I'm not sure if the dog got far enough through that wall to see Karen, but either way, they'll suspect it. Spike on the floor, and they'll attempt to take it. Problem is, Zelsis is stood on the other side of that smoke. Sassy up top, spraying away with him. With 50 seconds left and 5 players to take down. Well, we said the last round was a bit too big of a task. This one, good luck.
Protect the KD at all costs. Munchkin can't really hope for anything else. Looking for the fight. And TenZ is just being an irritation at this stage, just placing smokes in his face. This is all just a formality. No hope for this one to go wrong for Sentinels. And they will at least close out the remaining couple of flawless to give them their 4th round onto the board after what was almost a flawless half out of Gen G. An early, shaky back and forth that was competitive, and then a 6-round streak for the Korean super team. They've definitely put themselves in a good spot, but as we know, Sentinels can definitely turn the tide.
It's not over yet, that's for sure, but Gen G have to be happy with how things have gone so far. In fact, we've got some friends of Gen G stood by in the audience. Let's hear from them.
Hey guys, Mika Fabs here in the crowd right now with Jules, a Gen G super fan. Hey Jules, where are you from?
I'm from Korea, but I live in the States as well.
Oh, okay, so this is a tough match for you, but clearly you are for Gen G. I actually hear you're a friend of Textures, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh wow, so how do you know him, and what is he like outside of the game?
I'm his channel moderator, and he's just a great guy, a friendly guy as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that he works really, really hard as well outside of the game, right?
Absolutely. We call him pro streamer because he's a pro player, but he streams like streamer. He always works outside of his scrims as well. He's amazing.
Yeah, Yeah, he's been such a character as well, and so fun to watch too. Now, finally, I hear you're not just a Gen G fan, you're not just a Texture fan, but you're an overall VCT fan. You've been to so many events. Can you let us know what they are?
Yes, I've been to Pacific last year and also went to LA for Champs. This year I'm at Madrid and I'm going to Seoul for Champs again.
Awesome! So we might see you again, and we might have to loot back this interview and come full circle. Now, finally, I need you to give one big shout out to all of the Gen G fans over here in the stage and everywhere. Give your best battle cry for Gen G.
Thank you. Wow! I think Gen G's gonna win. Guys, Gen G has been exceeding the expectations, and they're really gonna do well. So please root for Gen G.
All right, let's hear it for Gen G! But on the other side, we also do have to hear it for Sentinels before we get back into the game.
Hello.
All right, Tom. Yeah, you know what? I got to hear a Gen G battle cry, but the crowd didn't really turn up for Sentinels, Tom. Give me your best Sentinels battle cry. Hype them up. Give it to me.
Oh, buy the Sen bundle. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. I can't believe.
You can work on your delivery, Tom. I'll say that.
The battle cry I have a tear in my eye. That was fantastic.
It was wonderful. Well,
8-4 though.
We've heard about Gen G's hard-working nature in that interview, and listen, hard work pays off. So far, a 4-round lead, double the rounds of Sentinels, hailed as the best team in the world on this map, Tom. They've got to show us why they're called that here on their attack.
It is time to prove it, because as we know, next map up is the choice of Gen G. Lotus has been a home turf for them. 5-map streak. Not a bad map for Sentinels, but you wouldn't want to be going in this series with a deficit. Zekken now becomes the pinnacle. He's had a bit of a quieter game, but we know that at any stage, this youngster can turn it on, can take over rounds, and especially on that raise, it's been fearsome. Blacky though, ooh, he's actually just looking to deal with utility. He's gone down, been having a bit of a rough map individually. And the problem is, this is all just the ruse. This is going to start pulling players over and put the pressure onto Meteor.
That's a spot that you have to check on the way out. For Sentinels, you imagine they will. John
Texture,
QT,
come on.
look at him. You see him in the X-ray
Mati
just
dong ini
sneaking
kambing
past
maskin.
towards the screens. They'll never expect him to be in this corner. And the steps heard on the rotation back. Oh, this gap is absolutely massive. No way that Munchkin could expect it. But does he expect someone to be on the site? He could think that's the only player. One guy in screens coming back to check there's no one and running back. This all makes sense. For Texture to be here, though, oh, they'd have to be ever vigilant to see it. And now he's got an opportunity to trade it back further. It's huge from Texture.
Nice.
Completely bamboozling them. 10 seconds left. A nade on the floor. A blast back for the fight, but Zekken still wins it. 5 seconds. They need to plant it now. If they can deny this, it's done on the spot. Karen does well to find one.
Nice, kambing.
Gen G with another round. The pistol injecting some rounds and bringing them ever closer to winning Sentinel's map pick.
That is the second time in this tournament I have watched that man there, Texture, win an impossible round. Win a round that never should have been. There was one where he exploded through a smoke and instantly broke 3 heads. This one was discipline. This one was waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. And again, he takes down 3 players. This man has been revitalized within this Gen G roster. And that has got to be infuriating for Sentinels, because John QT basically did everything right. Gets an opener, catches the player rotating, but one man missed. And that's the pistol round to Gen G.
That's got to be so frustrating. Even thinking back, he heard the second player running up in heaven. Chance of a third being there very low. Karen, not in danger. In fact, he is
Nice
in danger.
banget, Laron.
3 kills. They were close, but well, the numbers advantage doesn't really matter when the judges firing away like that. The last could have been his, but Texture finds it instead. 1 man lost on Gen G, a fantastic follow-up round to their pistol, stacking the chips even further on their side of the table.
Gigi, kamu Gen G.
Might be made in more ways than one today. Unless Sentinels come alive fairly soon, we could be seeing their greatest ever defeat with this iteration on this map. They've played it so many times within the Americas, so many times already in this tournament as well. But right now, Gen G are showing why they might just be the hope of Pacific to finally get towards a title win. It definitely feels still a fair bit away. But in this round, they've not got a completely weak purchase. A few rifles, an outlaw as well. Okay, Karen's left on a pistol, and Munchkin's SMG is not the most desired weaponry. I'm also looking at Texture being 2 orbs away from having that showstopper. The main thing, though, for Sentinels is they finally got the rifles.
Well, if anything, that's the pressure of this round. They've got the rifles, but they need to find success with it. Weaker weapons for Gen G. That outlaw is dangerous. What's even more dangerous is the 4 players on this A site. We saw Gen G run into this. 4 of Sentinels up in heaven. And Gen G lost about 40 HP total with a flawless execution on the A site. Sentinels are doing it with a split through vents. 2 players on their way to crunch heaven. Problem is, Gen G can crunch right back. Lakia and Munchkin aren't in heaven. Instead, out on the ledge. It's a very unusual position. Lakia can flash up from down below. And Munchkin can always have somewhere to fall back to. Oh, no, with his knife out, that's a big mistake. And now they know at least there's another player on site. They might even have heard them in screens, but again, they have a chance for this extra man. Lakia tucked in the corner. Sentinels, 12 seconds left. And a 1 versus 2. They've bought themselves the space to plant.
Yeah, the one thing for Karen is he doesn't currently have a weapon. And everybody dying around the window means that he might even have to put himself out into the open to give this one up. The reposition as well from Zeus is sublime. It would have to be an instant headshot. And although they pushed in to pretty much all of Gen G, at least all of their weaponry, Sentinels do manage to weather the storm just about.
Well, Tom, you know, this is the expected result, though. 2-round win, 1 on the back of the pistol, the other the follow-up. You win your 3rd up against those weaker weapons. It still gets close. Couple of well-placed shots by Sentinels puts them ahead in those fights. A good reposition in the end. But one battle going slightly differently, and this map spirals out of their control. They're holding on to a cliff's edge by their fingernails. And at 10-5, Gen G now pull out the showstopper. And they've gotten away, just about rounding the corner in time. That was a target-rich environment. But now Gen G have to fall back, surely. They won't keep pushing. They won't keep taking this space. With Texture's gone back, but Meteor's gone forward. He doesn't even have a dash online. This guy's crazy. He's cloud bursting around to try and stay alive. He's still not running away, Tom. He's sticking around for a fight. I did not expect that.
Maybe not expecting that many players to be there. Texture as well, he wants to try and recover this. Such an aggressive start. The Paranoia showstopper combo could have eliminated half of Sentinels. Instead, it found nothing. And now it does kind of look like Gen G is scrambling a little bit. Such aggressive positions, and the fallback is going to go towards that A site. The thing is, though, because they had so much map control, there's been an early read from the side of Gen G. Once again, it's looking like we might have 4 players within this A site as Sentinels go to push.
1 flash on Lakia, 1 nade on Texture. No Paranoia, some smokes. The second just came online for Karen, and one's just been popped out. Here comes the showstopper, though. That's the big gun on the other side. And Sentinels find the opening with it, but there's a response. Gen G equalize things, catch them on the rotator through heaven, and drop the spike. 20 seconds left, and the nade buys even more time. The rotation now from Texture as he realizes they're going to want to hightail it, move to the other side, but look, he's already here. He's ahead of them with 10 seconds left. There's no time for delay. They need this fight. They need to win it. And they have just about 5 seconds. 4 as he reaches the side. It's delayed. They've bought enough time. The spike plant doesn't come in.
Kawan-kawan, anjing.
This man's positioning has been pretty much second to none. Every single time he makes the right read, Texture is having a worldie of a defensive half, and Sentinels are just walking into this trap almost every single time. Gen G's read to get 4 players there, perfect. He drops the spike and then instantly hightails it, knows that he can have faith in Munchkin to hold on to that site, and buys almost exactly enough time. The fact that it has to be slowed down just enough, that split second, does the work. The heroes are there, the stars are aligning. Sentinels are on their last legs, investing back into this one. They have some rifles, and they're almost at a Viper's pit.
Gen G have been bypassed on mid already, but that was heard. Karen knows exactly what was going down. This weapon, the judge in hand, it could be somewhat unexpected. They'll see his economy was low. Will they anticipate it upstairs in heaven? This is a danger up against any buy. And they're on their way straight into Karen's waiting arms. If he wins this at first already, that's another nail in Sentinel's coffin, and he's back. He's just creating some space. And not getting out alive. In fact, sticking around for another fight, but Tens doubles up.
That's a big double kill. They've still got to deal with Munchkin, though. Might not be expecting a third player within this site. Poison orb up. He's going to be able to isolate the spike. Already dropped to the ground. Good trade, though, from John QT again. Bringing things back into an even scenario. The clock not so low this time, but Lakia already making a switch up. He's going to play into the orb, has a flash ready to go straight out of it. It is being watched, and he drops one against both! Lakia steps up, puts the 12th round onto the board for Genji.
Suara nih Genji, Cok.
Decision, every battle just seems to be
Sentinel
correct for this
dibully-bully,
squad.
Cok, di split, aneh.
And I can't believe what I'm seeing. A 7-round deficit for Sentinels on their best map, the map they chose, and a map that I'll be honest, we did not see Genji competing in.
I was already looking at Lotus once I saw the veto come up, and no team's been able to shine a light on Sentinels here on Split. A close game is the best you could expect. A dominant victory, though? Genji, they really are changing the game. Round 18 could be the last with an early fight up top. Done a little bit of damage, but not too much. Sentinels not deterred from their aggression. Another player on site now. 4 players from Genji here ready to fight Meteor. The first to take
well played.
it, and he won't stop. 3 kills already. It's left it all to Sassy, and it's done just like that.
Juara soalnya anjing Genji kampret.
You might have expected to see this scoreline, but not in the hands of Genji. A
Ya,
devastating
main
start
apaan,
to this
Cok?
series for Sentinels. I can't imagine what the locker room chat's going to be like ahead of Lotus.
This now puts it down to one map to
Aku
Genji,
belum
matching
predict
the
tuh.
best
Keren
ever
banget.
Pacific performance at an international event. This team last year didn't really do too much, but they have come out swinging. We'll be back after the break to see if they can do it in 2.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack
Hidup
on
teh
Pro.
dulu gua.
Watch out for the stairs,
Anjir,
clear this
gacor banget
angle.
nih
You're going
Genji,
to be
Cok.
able to fight this.
Pacific juara nih kayaknya.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back. We're here right now with Solo and with Jen to help with some translation. Now, Solo, once upon a time it was you and Lakia up there up against a very different Sentinels. But I wanted to know how it feels like now that you're seeing this matchup, but now you're in the coach's seat.
감독님 마지막으로 센티널을 만났을 때가 감독님과 라키아 선수가 선수로서 뛰고 있던 때였잖아요. 이제 좀 감독으로서 지켜보면서 옛날 생각도 많이 나시고 좀 감회가 새로울 것 같아요.
옛날 생각도 좀 많이 나고 처음에 이제 만나게 됐을 때 좀 저도 개인적으로 긴장을 많이 했고 뭔가 똑같은 약간 그전이랑 똑같은 승자 조결승에서 만나니까 또 그래서 좀 저번에는 졌으니까 이번에는 꼭 이겨서 결승 저희가 먼저 갔으면 좋겠습니다.
It just brought back so many memories from back then. We were also in the upper bracket as well, but we lost back then. And it just made me it just brought back so much emotions from, what happened back then. But I just feel like this time we're going to make it different. And I really, really hope that Genji guys can pull it off today and we walk away with the win.
Well, it certainly feels different, so let's see if Genji can close this out.
Genji heard the Sentinels really like Split, so they said, hold my drink. And they did the business. Absolute domination. Kukuka, this Genji team looked absolutely on fire in this map. And if anything, it just goes to show that, I mean, yeah, you can look at the results, but just stay up, man. Anything's possible in this game.
When we saw the map select, we thought, it's a bit of pick your poison, right? It's going to be Sunset or it's going to be Split. And they were definitely very sure about what to do with this split, even though the beginning of the game was a bit shaky for both of the teams. We saw, teams getting echo time and time again. It looked like JunQT was going to have all the effect in that defense because Genji was a little bit lost on how to play around it.
And I think Genji executed on a lot of the things that we talk about being so good on this map for Sentinels. On their attack sides, they had great entry pathing with this double duelist comp. Actually, I feel like in a lot of these rounds, after those initial few where John was getting the better of them, navigating the trips really well and getting into these sites. And in the post plans, playing these forward posts, Sentinels was never allowed to play the set retakes that they're so good at, and they love on this map, which was absolutely debilitating.
And I think it's brilliant the way that Genji was able to interpret and actually read into what they had to do when they got to that post-plan situation, how to put the pressure and no allowing, as you're saying, Mimi, Sentinels to have any kind of breathing room, so they could not win a single one of those retakes.
And beyond just the strategy, the individuals were absolutely hitting. When you lock a comp like this against a team like Sentinels, you need your two duelists to be going crazy, and they were dominating. Texture in particular was ridiculous this map, G.
Oh, well, I'm actually glad you mentioned Texture because, we got to show the clip again. You know what I'm saying? It's, of course, our HyperX Reflex moment of the day. Kukuka, this was just like the best possible way to play this one out. The discipline was
This
asserted.
round made no sense. Like the fact that JunQT took a position that they didn't know, then Texture is doing the same, and he has to trigger discipline to get this far in such a slow, 2 seconds this was.
Yeah, and Genji was good on the rifle rounds, but the make or break in this match was rounds like this. Was the
This
second round.
no
It
más
still was the
automático.
eco rounds they won at the beginning. Those little margins are what changed the outcome of a series.
Yeah, and also Genji reading onto the read that that Sentinels had. I remember when they went onto A, they knew that they were going to do something aggressive, and they responded with even more aggression, sending the race, sending all the utility to shut down any kind of idea that Sentinels might have had to turn the match around.
What a match it was for Genji. Let's go ahead, though, and take a look at our aim lab shoot around real fast. Continue the conversation because Genji's in a great position here to do something that, other teams in their region have done before. Other Korean teams have achieved, right? Being able to hit that second place spot. But the way they're playing, the confidence upon which that they're approaching this one, Mimi, it feels like it's a different conversation.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since a Korean team has been in a finals. The last time was when Solo was a player. We heard that in the coach. He's nostalgic in that coach's interview. We heard him. He's nostalgic about it. It feels like he's bringing something up again and really hopes his team can close this out because it would be a massive moment for Korean Valorant, for the Pacific region, and especially for the rookies like that guy that was just warming up. Karon, at least top 2 in his first global, would be ridiculous.
Honestly, I don't even know why he goes into the aim lab shooting around after what we just saw with the judge. He doesn't need that kind of training. But then Exactly, just by a judge to do a little bit of crazy things. Now, moving on to the next map, moving on to Lotus, things have to take a quick turn, especially because yesterday Texture was having the time of his life. Gen.G is going to start on the defense, and I'm mentioning this because of exactly what he did yesterday. I think that the aggression that they were putting, especially being a very default-based team, was being the edge against PaperX. I assume that Sentinels is probably prepared for that, but if he has the room, he will take it.
Gen.G hasn't lost this map here in Masters Madrid yet. They've been on an excellent streak on Lotus. It has looked like their home territory, but Sen is good here too. They're going to be playing the same exact composition as you see here in our Agent Select, the old classic, the Fnatic comp. For me though, we need to see so much more from Sentinels in the implementation, right? On these attack sides in particular. John QT, I think, had some pretty solid calls on Split, but a lot of those little mistakes were the reasons they lost rounds. Saucy whiffing on something, someone kind of walking into a setup and dying in these post plants. These little mistakes cannot happen, or Gen.G will take advantage when they're so clean on this map.
Yeah, exactly. And we need to go back and talk about the Zekken versus Texture that we were talking about the beginning of the day. Zekken with incredible numbers all across the board. First in most of the categories and the top 4 final teams. He needs to be the one stepping up, especially if they're starting on the attack.
This could be a massive moment for Korean Valorant, a massive moment for Gen.G, but Sentinels can look to force a map 3. Let's send it back over to your casters, Mitch and Tom.
Well, after a crushing defeat on map 1, Sentinels are going to need a Master Lotus in the form of Uncle Eero, or equivalent to it, Tom. 1-0 down in the series. Need 2 in a row. It's not a position they find themselves in often.
No, it's actually a very scary prospect. I don't say, oh, I've got an interesting stat too often, but in the last 9 series, Sentinels have won the first map. The 10th, they lost 2-0 to Loud. So that is the last time where they lost the first map in a series. They've even lost the series after winning the first map, but they always win the first map. So it's the first time we're going to see them properly have to fight from a deficit since the opener. And Gen.G are just going straight in with such an aggressive start. C is dead within a matter of seconds.
Well, when you leave C, when you get pushed back, where are you going to go? You got to cross the B side. Gen.G 3 push C, 2 push B, retake A. But hold on, Sentinels try to take the fight through them to wrap all the way behind, and now end up coming back as a death ball, eliminating Texture, but the trade stay good. Gen.G in a 4 versus 3, grouped up in 2-man squads. It's a good spot to play from. Meteor tagged, Karen not too healthy either, and then bumped up. It's whack-a-mole for Meteor, with both down, and only 10 standing. This pistol looks to slip out of Sentinel's hands, and just like that, it falls into Gen.G's.
What a start. I love the way that they have come into this matchup. This is a team that many were saying that, oh, they should just ban Split. Oh, them picking Lotus. That would be silly. That's one of their opponent's better maps. But the fact is, Gen.G, I genuinely feel like have come into this series and gone, oh, we don't care what they play. We don't care if that's their best map. We don't care if this is one of them. We are going to play our own game. We're going to play to our strengths. And just look at the way they started off in this pistol. A highly aggressive defensive side push, got in the faces of their opponent immediately. This is a team running with confidence. Just having a great time.
I mean, you could see it the second they stepped out on stage and the crowd was there, the smiles on their face. They are happy to be here. They know they're making history, but it doesn't seem like they feel that pressure right now. They are vibing and thriving, 1-0 up. Sentinels, though, Tom, they've put all their credits on the line. It's a big buy from the attacking side.
Yeah, this is definitely a risk, a gamble. But we know they can pull it off. A little bit of a Bucky play to kick off the round. Munchkin with a nasty surprise. We've already seen this in the first map. An early back and forth. We know that Sentinels can do it, even with just the pistols. The C's fantastic. Even put in onto a snake bite. Lovely combinations from Sentinels.
I believe they even, before Zelsis went down, he threw in a nano, so you just had so much damage being issued on that spot and no escape. The 1-0 challenged, and for Gen.G getting back through won't be easy. They've already expended all their big utility. Sentinels have the numbers, and with these weapons close range,
it's gorgeous.
They have a lot of potential, more so when they can see you through the walls. A great reveal from Sassy to get himself the kill. Karen down extremely low as he emerges from that smoke. It's easy pickings with Texture the last alive. He doesn't stand too long either. 1-1 as Sentinels pull it back. Reminiscent of the last map.
Yeah, they're not
This time with a
MasterCard
force.
aren't getting a shout out as much this time because it was a full investment out from the side of Sentinels, but what a way to get right back into things. That's the thing. They had a slow map in the last, they got outplayed by
Tadi pakai
Gen
Guardian
G.
ya.
But to say they can't come right back in and sucker punch their opponents, well, it would be foolish to admit. Either way, not going to be a mass investment on the other side. A few pistols, a Marshall put into play for Meteor. Definitely know what he can do. He's actually going for an aggressive peek around the edge of the one-way. But again, this control is being taken. Sassy farming up the orb, not far away from his ultimate already. Taking a lot of space.
Yeah, once Gen G go for those fights, you know, they're really not favored. It has to be a miracle shot, although we've seen plenty of them. Even just on the last map. Getting back through here. There's a couple 1v1s available, but that paranoia from Tens, it does a lot of work. John QT's able to clean house. Big kills to have as well. For John QT, this man is now 3 away, I believe. Yeah, 3 away from a Viper's Pit. Very early on as well after the fight back. Could just be 2 away. There you go. He got his orb. What is that? Great shots for Meteor. Chances of him getting the last 2, though, extremely low. They peek together and close it out.
Yeah, at least make things a little bit more costly and get himself ever closer to having his ultimate online, just 1 orb away. And actually the same for Texture as well. Getting ever closer to having quite a lot available. But I have to say, like, you bring in John QT, someone that obviously a lot of the reason he's into this squad is for the strategy side of things. He's been popping individually. Definitely up there with the best fragging IGLs. And into this round, well, it's going to be our first 4-buy already. Going to have that Nightfall online for Sassy. By the looks of it, Black here taking a lot of early space. You don't normally see the Odin push this far forward.
We've seen it before, and it was punished almost immediately. Most times the pushes come, but I think a little bit more confident with Texture being there. Munchkin toying with the idea of pushing up, and Zalsis eventually bites the bait. He's down. Wanted to see if someone was on the angle, but 6 HP is all he escapes with. Now they've got to be worried about this position. Karen just bailing. Happy to cause problems, and look, he's already burnt up their paranoia. A very valuable flash used up for next to nothing because he was baiting them.
And that's one of the major things, is you don't really have flashes when it comes to this composition. The paranoia really is a huge, valuable piece. Already though, early rotations did actually pull players away from the A site. You can see that Sassy has managed to drag them back. He is selling a ruse. This is going to put serious pressure onto Meteor. He is now the only player. This fake from Sentinels is sublime, even using the Nightfall. Meteor's even starting to rotate away. They have fallen for the bait completely.
Oh, they've seen him. There was no way out. Zekin's caught. And now there's no way to stop this spike from being planted on the side of Gen G. They have to play for the retake. Spams are coming close. But Munchkin's dodging the bullets for now. An angle for Karen as he sees the corner, but Tens will make it out of there just about. The Shrouded Step buys him the space, and he's hightailing it to play the post plant. 6 HP on Zelsus, 22 on Tens, and Zekin and John QT are not too healthy, but they have to go for a save on Gen G because of all those players still standing. Fight, a bullet or 2 landed extra, and this round would look different, but instead Gen G are out of here.
Yeah, we've given so much credit over to Gen G in the first map about how they were able to push and pull their opponents, even winning fights when they push into the stack. Sentinels this round, that was literal perfection. They used even an ultimate just to sell the ruse, but the fact is Sassy just reclaiming that space late was enough to sell that fake perfectly. Meteor was even rotating off the site. He was so convinced that that was going to be a play in towards A, using their smokes on that side as well. Just fantastic stuff. Well, when you have someone like Zekin as your entry, even if there's one man there, you're not going to have too many problems. From that point, Sentinels managed to convert 3 rounds in a row. And well, what looks like a very peculiar buy, mainly because of the saved weaponry. Still some slight bit of hope based on the ults for Gen G, but not much more.
That showstopper could definitely change the course of a round. A
Gua
lot of
keren
early
kena aja.
pressure from Gen G around A. It's not in what they've thrown out, it's what they're preparing to throw.
Kambing.
4 players towards the angle. The first drop, the snake bite deep, but a little late. Lakia, good for 1. The damage done, it's still recoverable, but that makes it a little harder. With Munchkin down, they know Karen around this angle. There's not too much that we can rely on Gen G to finish off the kills that have already halfway started. Odin retrieve for Karen, but he's going to find it hard to even find an angle to use this round.
It might just come down to a save. The fact is they're almost having to gamble on where their opponents are going, but the fact is Sen are happy to just play patient. A second round again where they're using Sassy as this Meteor, though. He's just executed him, and Karen's managed to get a kill as well.
He peeked stairs, and now he's up top suppressing fire. The guy's got 42 HP, he swung out wide. Paranoia hadn't quite landed just yet, and that's a little disappointing. Could have been close with Meteor now having to clutch it out, and the problem is he doesn't know where these players are. They could have snuck away to anywhere. It could cost him a lot of time on the way back through, but it seems he's relatively confident that they'll play towards the site, inside that pit. In fact, the lockdown is going to be used here and now. They have to open the door to run away or emerge from that ult, and the timing. Oh, it was so close to seeing Meteor fall. He catches John QT on the other side of the wall. Celsius is standing. Taken down. A sensational clutch from Meteor.
GG Meteor Asia goblok.
Gen G. I am flabbergasted. A 2v4. Both of them had pistols, Tom. And they managed to recover an Odin that somehow does some work, but this man.
Lupa dia. Alah. Dapat situ gitu.
This is the thing. A Red Bull clutch, and at this stage, honestly, you're going to look at the clutch statistics. You might head over to VLR, and you'll see.
Kok ini bro, replay.
But there's been so many occasions where he's in a 2v2, and
replaynya mana coy, suaranya doang.
While his teammates rotating. So I am not surprised that he was confident in the 1v2 because he's been doing it all the way through the tournament. To use his lockdown there to force them out, he's wasted their Viper's pit, but more importantly, he's put them on the board when they shouldn't have been there. A big clutch coming out of Meteor.
Mana lu, Cok?
Texture now has an operator. They're putting in utility, but it's being destroyed. Almost just baiting the fact that there's someone here, but he's so clean with it. First kill goes through, instantly retreats.
And a few shots landed, but with the op refacing to land those last bullets will be a difficulty. Even the shot just here, whizzing past the head. Sentinels, 1 man down early on. They've gotten mound control for it, but not necessarily a worthwhile trade. From here, though, maybe they can posture a fake. Not really, though, considering Meteor's utility in play. They'll have a lot of information and content to play a little further back than the C site. Reveal goes up and over C, confirming there's still someone on mound. And Munchkin's in position here on this B site. Wall up. That'll slow down any attempt at a push, and with 45 seconds left, we see the spike rotate around to A. Still stacked up, and look who's rotated into position, Tom. Textures here with the operator.
That's the thing, they use some util to try and destroy their opponent's utility and bait out that they might be going in this direction, but the fact is Munchkin has sat around. There's still a showstopper available here for Texture. He might be able to deny them, but he goes through, takes a risk and is caught by Zelsis. Karon still in position. 15 seconds left. It's getting late on the clock. The timer ticking. He's waiting for someone to go for the ball. Right in front of him. Hit him. And because of that, he's able to drop 2. Surely it's too far gone. Karon takes this round into his own hands. And Sentinels, they've been flabbergasted, flustered again by just 1 man on the side.
Gila, nice banget,
This is becoming a recurring trend for this squad. It happened on Split with Texture on the back of A, but this time it's a little worse, Tom, because they hadn't thread the needle. They hadn't heard 2 players around this area. They thought that op on the angle was the only thing there, the only element to this defense, and maybe part of that is the Texture ran through the op. Why would he do that? Like, he would only do that surely in their mind if the A side, if he's the last bastion of defense. But no, he wasn't. An unbelievable round, and one that's gutting if you're a Sentinels fan.
Oh, for sure. Like the last 2 rounds probably should have been theirs, or at least got close. One of them taken by Meteor now, but they're not stopping. Great start to the round. Zekken on these entries in C has been unstoppable. The showstopper in his hands, and he's just not stopping. The
Senjata lu mana
He's in the
Lakia
conversation
kambing?
for best player in the world right now, and you've just witnessed why.
Well, that connection's got to leave it to a save for Gen G. You can see on A and towards their spawn, there's not much movement.
You're not seeing enough movement?
It's like Times Square out here. For Gen G, look, 3 to 4, Sentinels, they have that heartbeat up, but this entry was just too much to handle. The fact that the players are already tagged up, caught, I believe, by a reveal on the way through, and then blasted with a showstopper, left to no HP, and you got a quick draw on that stinger to finish them off.
That's the
sensational round.
I feel like you have to look at someone like Sassy and just see how much under the radar value this man brings to the team. Like we saw his lurk in one of the previous round victories where he basically baits an entire rotation on his own using his ultimate. Does he get anything on the scoreboard for that? No. We've seen his lurks throughout this, but also just, again, the reveals. Just putting into play Zekken, because he gets that showstopper kill. He might not know there's a second player
100%.
right behind it. But instead, it's just a freebie.
Yeah.
And that's what this man brings. That's why he's had that sort of big move away from the Brazilian team of Loud. And why he was a hot, sought-after property. Like this, though, Gen G instantly looking for a response. 4 players looking to pressure onto A again. They put some real value in Meteor being solo. And he's gone up this time.
Changing around who's pulling that all about. Texture had the early pick before, but Meteor, the solo anchor on this side of the map. Only now having a player come towards him. Munchkin that's around. Not even, previously we've seen Lakia. This is where he'd throw over a haunt and figure out if there's someone in the area. That's a tough smoke to play around. Yeah, do you take the risk? Because if he goes down here and they close the distance, there's no way out. For Meteor, he's going to take that way out here, and now
he got dinked.
Oh, 10 HP. It's dangerous. The nade from Texture might delay them slightly, and he has a showstopper to work with. He's sticking around. That nade actually landed perfectly, and now the showstopper comes through. It doesn't find the kill. Oh, a battle in the air, and Zekken takes it. The site now under threat. With responding, Meteor's big gun shows up, and he's got the little one out as well. The one from the bundle. He'll be able to use it with 10 HP inside that smoke. He just backs off. Posts up with the operator again. The snakebite's coming for him. He's got to back off, and he does. A 3rd kill. Oh, a sliver of health. The snakebite will eventually drop him. But John QT's got 2 more opponents to take down. One on the way with an ult in the back pocket. I don't know if they'll use it. There's 12 seconds left. This is where we want to see him stick that plant. Oh, but there's no chance with Lakia lining him up through the wall.
That was filthy. A seize to catch him, hold him in place, and a headshot straight through the wall to put him down. Meteor, though, 3 kills on 10 HP. It's just absurd. Bear in mind, he got dinked in the first, before he even saw anyone, he got dinked through the smoke, and then just wipes out half the team before eventually, I think, going down to a snakebite. What a fantastic round, and again, another huge individual step up for the side of Gen G. They've had so many ridiculous hero rounds, keeping things level for now. And yet, he's still going to give up that operator to Texture.
That's a good teammate right there. This door, it's going to give him an angle. You're not often going to be too scared about an op being posted on it, but no one reveals themselves. Sentinels hunkered down. There's 5 players here. They don't want to give it away and have the rotations of Gen G come through to catch them. Instead, they're going to wait, but anyone pokes their little nose out before that smoke is up. In fact, the smoke is for stairs. Texture's still good on the angle, but he doesn't find the shot. He's going back for more. He's sticking around, and he's caught his shot. Zels is down. Blast packing away, being chased by the Boombot, but he's able to post once more, and the door control remains in the hands of Gen G. There's no threat from his left-hand side. This man only has one direction to look at, and Sentinels realize there's no way through. There's no space for them to capitalize on. Instead, they'll break the door. At least that's the idea. But Meteor's waiting for that too. Oh, no, in fact, that was Lakia breaking the door.
Yeah, I think he's almost trying to give his teammate an opportunity to make a play through the door.
30 seconds left.
Still, Sentinels sit, waiting for someone to make an error, someone to make a mistake. They've still got utility. The Nightfall previously used by Lakia delayed them a massive amount. And it looks like they might just have to save this one. not finding any gap, any way into this round.
10 seconds left.
It is going to be another on the board. The question is, can they remove any of these extra weapons? Because they do not want to allow Sentinels to get away scot-free.
Well, they haven't pushed the door, so it's only the one player hunting. Meteor. It's not going to land. Not this time. So few weapons saved. This man Texture, he swung into 3 players, but again, there's a lot of utility coming their way. It's pulling their crosshairs off the angle, and I think they just weren't expecting this man to be as unhinged.
Did it almost off the rip of the Nightfall. So that's where all of your opponents get instantly taken down to like half HP. They also don't have any of the sound as well. That's the main thing. It's that they're obviously not going to be expecting someone to just run through an insta-peek, and they're also focusing on trying to reclaim tree control. Definitely risky, no doubt about it. But that has been what Texture has been doing. He's been disruptive. And now Sentinels clearly feeling after the last of the last 5 rounds, 4 have gone the way of Gen G. They're starting to get themselves back into control. And from what we've seen from them, they definitely feel more comfortable on the attack, which is a very scary prospect for Sentinels who, sure, there's no doubt they can do it on the defensive side, but you look at their victories versus Heretics, you had a 9-1 over on that attack side, 10-2 versus Loud the last time they played, 9-3 versus 100 Thieves. They've always been solid on this attack, and right now they are being challenged.
Well, after split, you know, it can't be a nice feeling for this squad. One of the bigger tests that they've faced from a team that I think the community has been favoring Sentinels for sure, but we even heard it from the desk. You know, they're the favorite team, but it's not an upset necessarily if Gen G win. Like, this is pinned to be a close game and one that Gen G have chances in. Or maybe it's better to say not the most incredible upset we've ever seen. It's going to be marginal. But from what we've seen, they looked like the better team so far. Sentinels had to be challenged by Texture's aggression once more, but this time they're ready. Zekin's caught him. And Lakia, well, he's left in a bit of an awkward position. Does he stay around there aggressive? No, it's time to fall back. It's a good thing too.
But that's the thing. I think Sentinels are starting to learn that there's never really just been one player. There's always been a second layer to this B push, especially. Like the last time out, we saw Munchkin make a play and Karam was just behind. So they made sure that they cleared everything. The operator hanging out in the wall. That won't be able to be retrieved, at least for now. Still plenty of time, though. And you can see space being taken across the map for Sentinels. Again, they love selling this ruse towards the A site. Using this time John QT because of the fact that Sassy has his ult again. Not going to be used to fake it as he instantly catches both players. Karam, though, has already made it into the corner. They've got to be careful of this. He's done this before. We saw this yesterday. Wins the first duel, but the trade is immediate.
30 seconds left.
I was hoping for a little bit more in the crossfire, but Meteor doesn't land the first, and now caught by some utility. He's brave.
Spike planted.
Sticking around on that angle to look for a fight. His teammate's miles away. If he goes down, the save call might be made. He sends them skyrocketing into this round with Sassy alone. Lakia, you know, he wants to just contain him, make sure he can't cross out to main. And now he might have. Be in the back of his line. They're split on the angle, and Sassy isolates one to second, right into his crosshair. Matching that of Meteor for a Red Bull clutch.
Bisa kalah, berdua.
This game has been a treat already. I thought Meteor had done enough. He is having a worldie of a game. Being able to take this much space, they even knew he must have been around this angle, even putting in a snakebite just moments later, split second later, to stop him from being able to do that. But luckily, they have this man, my bold brother, in Sassy, to be able to clutch things out. We've credited him when it comes to his utility usage throughout the game, but he also has the clutch in his locker. Again, though, this control instantly fought for by Gen G. They are never sat back. They are never comfortable just giving up map control. And while this is a bold position.
I've seen an AWP whole day alone before, Tom, but you know, usually from a little bit further back. Yeah, just
well, he does have the short range weapon of the AWP, so you know.
That's true.
You do have to get up nice and close.
Yeah, see if he pulls out any hip fires with it. Well, this might be a surprise for Sassy. Snake bite up and over. That's probably for Rubble.
Yeah.
Nice.
Unfortunately, he's a bit more aggressive than you anticipated, my friends.
It's got to be infuriating. Why would he be that far? He's going back. He's not shying away. Like, that's the thing. He's gone right back to the same spot again, confident that he'll hit the shot. Obviously, his teams have also sort of stacked it up over on the C side. Utility being broken, still a chance, but just look, 2 players already. The Meteor goes through. He spots the majority. They're not. Oh, just about. I thought that he might have flicked away. Karen's still here though, but he'll be traded out and back again, leaving it all onto Zekken. 25 seconds left, trying to fake out the plant, but Lakia not wanting to overextend. They've pinged exactly where he is, and Zekken's gonna go hunting, gonna try and take this man down and do exactly that. He's also got a flank coming in from Texture, but already he'll make the realization that this is gonna be a push towards the B site. He's actually gonna go running in, that's the thing. Texture instantly puts the nade, he has to try and stick this nade to go down to just 25 HP. But Zekken's still standing, still holding on. Texture just sticking it though. Already gets it to half. And looks to try and bait him in. He's got so much time to play with that he has to go back! But Zekken lands the shot anyway! It's a back-to-back Red Bull clutch for Sen!
The fuck? Ay, sengaja nih settingan nih. Biar map 3, cok. Anjir.
It's what it needed to be. Anywhere else, and he was going to be traded out by the bullet swinging back at him. And the idea here from Zekken.
It was a double check. I thought I saw him look away, and I was like, there's no way, but...
That was a fool me once. Shame on you. You ain't getting away with it again. It was Karen, I think literally the round before. Certainly the last round that they went C. He was in that same corner, so of course they're going to check it. Great reactions to deliver. Gen.G, well, they were all smiles not long ago. Now, feeling pretty deflated after that, but they're only 1 round behind. And as we said, Sentinels usually have a very strong attack, so it's not a bad position to be in, even if it ends 7-5, and they've called a timeout here.
That's the thing. I feel like it's one thing losing a round to your own mistakes, your own misplays, or your opponent maybe just doing something that you didn't foresee. I don't really believe that Gen.G did anything wrong in those clutches. Like, you look, the last 2 1v2s, you're sat there going, okay, they tried to play it together. Sassy manages to isolate the fight and win a round. Then you look at the next one, Lakia falls back so that his teammate can rotate, but Zekken gets aggressive, takes him down. Texture rotates quickly enough to nade him on the plant, and with 25 HP, he gets it to half, waits for his opponent, and gets insta-one-tapped. Those are 2 rounds where Gen.G are looking at going, well, there's not really an adaptation there. We played the round correctly. Sentinels were just better with those individual plays.
And sometimes that's all it is, man. Like, there are going to be rounds where your opponent just goes off. And there's rounds that Gen.G have had very similar. I mean, even earlier on in this tournament, Texture with a pistol over on Split, emerging from a smoke, 4 shots, 3 kills.
What?
Got 1 through the smoke already with 10s dropped. And Sentinels, in this last round on their attack side, find themselves in a disadvantage due to a scrappy early A fight. Oh no.
Oh, the timing is perfect. Toxins down to trade from JohnQT though. They needed something extra. They needed to bring that back to at least within contention. And with the way the last few rounds have gone, wouldn't be surprised to see the clutch. Also, a plant for JohnQT will get him his ult online. You can see though, Meteor is already set up. The Viper's Pit is great, but it's not going to be that impactful if your opponent has a lockdown.
Especially on this side, Tom, you can very easily box them in, and the only way out is it's a long run. Probably not getting back in. There it is, ultimate ready. You hear the voice line called. JohnQT probably wants to use this a little closer so they have an escape. And in fact, very aggressively used. Immediately look at Gen.G's adaptation. They come pushing in towards the spawn angle, but that's where Sassy's waiting, and the ult's obscuring him for just a moment. It's a beautiful angle. He can even get out of here, but they drop it to take a fight together, destroy the lockdown as well.
Hit them like a book.
Clinical play from Sentinels, leaving Karen to do it all, and he doesn't stand a chance. Sentinels have earned their way, fought their way back up to 7 at the half.
Bisa pakai molly Viper kan ya dulu sekultinya. Kenapa nggak disitu aja?
That was brilliant. Honestly, I'm thoroughly enjoying this match. The adaptations from either side, the orb put in play deep to give him a little bit of extra space. They knew exactly where their opponents would go once they placed the pit. That is honestly a JohnQT masterclass in repositioning, and they've earned themselves the 7-5 at the half.
Well, a lot of eyes have been drawn to Sentinels and Tens, one of the
Treat
main
them like a
players.
book, anjing.
He's been sensational. It's time to
Gitu
hear
lah momen
from
itu.
some of his friends and family over in the audience.
Masih panas tuh.
Hey guys, Mika Fabs here, and we are back in the crowd with some very special guests. I have Valerie here, who you all know as Tenza's mom, and you have Billy here, Tenza's uncle. The whole family's out here. Let's get a round of applause. All right, I saw you guys getting really into the game here.
Lebih ke abang nih, Cok, daripada omnya.
Oh, it's amazing. Hola, Madrid!
Hi, it's been awesome here. Watching the Sentinels play their game.
Yeah, and I hear that you were actually a big influence on Tenz while he was, starting his gaming career.
Yeah, definitely it started out. You're definitely a gaming family, and just making sure that he stayed competitive and focused on getting better. And he just took it off by himself from there.
And Valerie here told me a little secret. What is your rank, sir?
Probably Decade Ascendant, but my peak's Immortal too.
Whoa! Let's give a round of applause for that. Now, of course, it's massive that you get to see your son here. You go to another corner of the globe, and you have fans all over just applauding his name. How does that make you feel?
It's very heartwarming. It's,
Don't make me cry.
No, amazing. I'm so proud. Tyson, oh my God. So proud.
Speechless. We love him. We definitely do. Now, let's hear the both of you. Can you give a massive shout out to Sentinels and to Tyson playing up there right now?
Let's go, Sentinels. You guys are amazing. Let's go. You got this. We love you, Tyson.
Let's go, Tyson! Let's go, Sentinels!
Let's get back into the game.
Anjing awkward banget, Cok.
We love you, Tyson! What's that, Tom? You just left me hanging. Yep. We agreed on that. Tom, you told me let's do that when it comes back.
I've heard a lot of people heckin' love that guy, so you know.
But not you. Okay, fair enough. 7-5. Sentinels doing pretty well at this stage of the game. We said they're used to a very strong attack, and sure, there were some stumbles. But now let's see if they can get off on the right foot here on their defense. The pistol round underway. One Ghost, and just classics to back it up on that defensive side. Gen.G not showing their intention just yet. They've got some control for the A push, looking for any B aggression, but it looks like the intention is to take this to C or open that door and quickly double back.
The smoke timing
We'll
deter them for now. A little bit of space towards that B side, but it looks like Sentinels have a decent read. Two players walking their way back up. The Prowler's actually going to give it away. There's a couple of players here. Zekken does have his nade available if he wants to try and deny them. Instead, he's just going to spam, and he's taken out Lakia.
Sneaking into that corner as well. It's a beautiful crossfire if they do emerge onto the site. Deep smoke stopping for any C aggression. Turret watching the push up on the other side. Two players on C as well. Sentinels have no worries on that side of the map or B. But A, on the other hand, has come under threat. They've lost Rubble control. They've seen players here, and they're making a quick reaction with a three-man rotate onto that actual site.
So well placed for this push. Tenza smokes has made it awkward again. Already though, Munchkin's able to trade one back. The paranoia's missed, and Sassy's going to try and capitalize off it. But Munchkin lands another shot. Even gets a fight onto Tenza, who's low. Somehow they're turning this. They've got to get that spike down. Snakebite into position, but it's not going to deny. Karen just holding, at least for the moment. But Zelsis, again, he's going to be able to bring this back. Both players low, but Munchkin just isn't
Nice banget Munchkin, Cok.
He hits his fourth kill of the round, and just whenever there's a moment for someone to step up, it always seems to happen.
Mapnya kayaknya. Ngekill kabur.
I mean, this guy was unreal last map. Don't get me wrong. Pretty sure he came out of the first map. Yeah, the first half with 2 kills.
Yeah.
He was quiet, and now he's woken up at such a crucial time for this squad. It's not just a 4 kills. He's one hit, but I'm pretty sure his teammate is too.
Bear in mind, that reaction was Texture, the guy who won them the pistol on split by hiding and killing 3 people. And he's like, whoa! What?
Looks like we might have gotten an early reaction, because I'm sure he's going to be hyped up after that one too. Tense, though, sneaking around the corner, good for one. Caught immediately. Good catch by Munchkin, good react, and a follow-up from Lakia closes the round. Pretty clinical on the way through. One player lost.
I need that much slower because my brain wasn't able to comprehend how Texture got 2 kills that quickly. even still, relatively clean. I'm seeing Meteor with a sniper on attack, and I don't mind it, because at this point, not going to doubt him. 17 and 9. He may not be on the duelist anymore, but he definitely has that duelist mentality. And yeah, couple off. Actually, both players not that far away from a showstopper. It could be a big round for the Rays players.
Especially with the economy kind of low for the attacking side. Texture, there's one already. Now just one from the showstopper with most of his HP still intact. Gen.G, they haven't gotten away with it scot-free. Karen's been lost. Omen on each side out. Paranoia's no longer in play. Zalsis with one of the stranger angles you'll see held with an Odin. It's just a fallback, so he's covering C and B with his utility. And a wild shot through the smoke for John QT. There's the advantage claimed, although marginally considering Sassy's HP.
Dua yang smoke-nya mati, Cok.
Trade off that first kill. I think it was actually a solid reveal from Lakia that actually gave up Tenz's position up close. There was expectations there for Gen.G that they were going to be challenged. But even still, it's going to have to be an almost complete reposition. Now, they've got the turret, they've got the alarm bot, so they know that there's not really much of a chance that anybody's got this aggressive. But other than that, information is barren for the side of Gen.G. They have no idea what they're pushing into. You mentioned that Odin and its position. Well, depending on the plant spot, it might actually have quite high impact. And he's holding on to one of his nano swarms. With 20 seconds left, sure, it's probably going to end up in a retake, but there is a chance that this might be stopped by Zelsis.
Well, there's the nano activated that's on site already. One thrown through to delay even further. 10 seconds. Time to get that plant through. It's got to be safe in the corner. Got to wait a little longer after the nano runs the clock down, and that is a very tight plant. I think he's just about got it, but no spray coming through on the other side. That was 0.1 or 0.2 of a second by my read, but just about close enough to allow it to come through. But with texture down, the numbers thin even further on the attacking side. Now the defenders, I suppose, of this site. One found by Lakia. Meteor needs some impact with this, and he'll find it. Another kill, but he's 4 HP. 1 against 2. The nade hunting him down. So too is Zekin. Inbound for Sentinels. Gen.G made a good attempt at this one.
Yeah, definitely made it a little bit more costly, but they did have a fair amount of rifles going into that as a bonus. Again, though, I'd like the delay. The fact is that came down to a split second, and I think there was a very real world where Lakia fat fingers that and they lose the round just off time.
Yep.
Like, it was so insanely close. Good positioning, though, meant that they were able to find a lot of these kills before things really got too dangerous. And now we mentioned the showstopper. Texture used his in the last round. Zekin has his available now.
Rounds are trickling in bit by bit. The lead only ever summed up by a round or two. It's never safe, it's never secure, nor are these players. Early aggression, again, from Sentinels. A lot of utility, and most importantly, 4 players here. Paranoia used. Zekin gets caught by the other sides, though, so he's not able to get a clean shot off on the showstopper. It's interrupted, and Sentinels start to fall back, concede some of this space. It's a good battle by Gen.G, and they thought they had a lot to work with Meteor sneaking through to B, but he's being caught.
It's now back into that awkward scenario. They had so much space, but also that takes off all of that extra Killjoy utility, so they can't really afford to dilly down anymore. They're gonna have to make their move again. Walking into the Lion's Den. Zelsis with his utility, but also with his Odin at the back. Hasn't been revealed. He's sat patiently waiting with his gun in hand, and he's gonna win the fight again. Oh. Even look at the spam through. He's done a lot of damage to Karen, but he's just buying time for the rotation.
Oh.
You don't really see plays like this every single day. Sat at the back with the Odin in hand, and he's just gonna go the sun on his own. Again, another 4K comes out for the side of Sentinels, and a solo hold of that C site.
I've never seen anyone do that before. I've never seen it. Just hip fire in the Odin. Every part of that was so beautiful as well. The realization he needs to go for the wall bangs, then that they're going to swing him, he swings wide ahead of them. Makes it a little more awkward for them to land. Like, this is good. The swing here, it perfectly offsets where Karen was looking to pre-fire on. Like, he could not have read that any better. What an
Di mute
unbelievable
kan,
play. And then to
kurang
actually
tuh.
deliver sprays like that, hip firing when you're just beginning it, you have a lower rate of fire.
Jadi
Unbelievable.
mute terusnya.
I'm going to dream about that tonight.
Well, the dreams of Gen.G's 2-0 seem to be slipping away. Sentinels extending that lead and now back to pistols and a hero rifle for Texture. He's had his moments in this game, but most of it has been with an operator in his hand. Once again, Celsius is waiting. And the thing is as well, that it leaves them with so little opportunity for where they can plant. Instead, they're going to go back, look to put some pressure onto Tens, who been having one of his quieter performances, that's for sure. But even still, all he really has to do is get that information, call for the rotations, and get some support.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see Tens flex a lot, and I think here on Omen, the way they've been playing it on defensive side, he's often just the guy throwing the paranoia and trying to get involved afterwards.
Placing sentry. 30 seconds.
We go to a map 3, might see a little more from him. Gen.G, few pistols, but as we said, you know, it was nothing but MasterCard thrifties starting off that first map. No reason we can't return to it now. Meteor's flanks have been caught again and again. This time it's Sassy to find him, and with 13 seconds left, they need to make a move onto the site. 10 on the clock as they get close. Blast Pack still in play, going to be used here, but not booping him fully off. Just about far enough away that he can continue planting. Karen falls. Pistol standing, Guardian spotted and dropped, and it's cleaned up nicely by Sentinels. It's only Munchkin left, and he can't even get near that spike to stop the defuse. What a nice shot connected. That's where the hope of the round ends.
Yeah, in the end, he almost has to go down. Just to make sure that he's going to have weaponry for the next round. And it's going to be a small cost for the side of Sentinels. 3 rounds in a row, and relatively clean ones as that. They've got Zelsis now. 7,000, and they have got the crowd support. It definitely seems like they are the favorites, even if they're on a different continent from where they're normally playing. Sentinels have won the hearts of many, and now will have a comfortable lead. Even still, though, they're going to be put under pressure. An immediate push here as they take control of Mound.
That util in response. Good paranoia, but too late. The player's already able to see and take down Zekin as Tens fades from the angle. They find themselves in a 4v4. Good retake ultimate online for Zelsis. That can counter at the Viper's Pit as we've seen before, but the potential to play aggressively on the back of Lakias could cancel it out. It has for Sentinels previously. Tens on the other side of this smoke has John QT covering the cross, but Karen's already gotten up close. A shrouded step that wasn't expected, and now the Nightfall gone all the way through. John QT, 13 HP, but he fades into the corner, and now he'll be able to get his health back online. Even notices the Nano Swarm chasing him down. Snakebite now landed right on him, and he's jumping forward.
Oh my
caught
God.
by another piece of utility. This time the alarm bot, Sassy, almost had it. But he's caught. Celsius in on the
Kambing kayak gitu-gitu lah, bikin sial ya.
his lockdown in prime position. Another swing, and a player spotted. Only one to root out of that Viper's Pit. And Munchkin's already given up the angle, essentially. They're running for the hills as Zelsa steps forward. He'll catch Lakia, setting them up to close this out with Munchkin falling. It's Zelsa's as 11 goes on the board for Sentinels. They're close to a map 3.
We've said it throughout this tournament. We've seen a lot of teams lose their own map pick. We've seen a lot of teams fight back. Mentioned it as well that throughout their last 9 series, Sentinels have taken the first map every single time. But we're seeing that they have no trouble looking for a response in map number 2. Zekin leading the way, but we've also in this second half seen a massive resurgence from Zelsis. Had a couple of really high impact rounds. Seems to love the C site. And Moffat, Gen.G are going to give the legend that is Solo an opportunity to try and talk this one through. As said, we have seen him play against Sentinels the last time they actually won an event. He played in the upper match to go into the final and lost.
Musuh di belakang
Now he
monitor
has to
loh.
find some wise words to try and bring this team back and have an opportunity
Jengkal
for
dong,
2-0.
kamu.
Otherwise, they head into Breeze. And honestly, Either of these teams have looked fantastic on that map, so I have no idea which way it will go.
It's going to be whoever's made best use of the downtime, what little of it there is in between these games. Again, talking about the stakes of this match, I believe it was Kaplan that was talking about, and actually it was because we showed it on the desk, the fact that whoever wins this, first of all, gets to watch their opponent play, always a great advantage to have, but mainly they get a day off. They can prepare, they can scrim, they can relax, get up late, whatever they want.
And the veto advantage as
Veto
well.
advantage, exactly. The impact of winning this series, it's not just about, oh yeah, they can get to the grand final anyways. They can, but they'll be on the back foot when they make it there, running off back-to-back game days.
Well, 4 rounds in a row. This attack side for Gen G hasn't looked great. We're going to see the same again. This adaptation to the C-side control is to have aggression, and then Zelsis now sits with his setup on the A side of the map. And I think they're going for this again because it's yet to be tested. We haven't seen the pressure put onto Zelsis on the other side, but they feel confident in it. They've left him there alone. In fact, there's no support at all. The rest of the team are massively far away. In fact, we're even seeing a rotation from Sassy towards the players over on that C side.
Has to cover the B gap.
They want this man to go for a real hero play with no support whatsoever.
Oh, if he commits to it. If he just commits to it, he could have so much value spraying through that wall. Look at the players creeping up towards the switch. Zelsis doesn't know, though. There's no information to play with just yet. He's waiting for his alarm bot to get contact. Now the door's open. He needs to run. He knows players are about to flood that part of the map, or that they might be. In fact, Gen G have changed their idea. The direction now brings them towards B. Smoke up, and a good kill as Tens is caught out of position. Nightfall through. And that is going to slow them way down. Keep the information in their hands. Allow
Wallbang itu dah. Aku bilang juga.
Second does much the same. This one's done. Karen in a barrel. Zelsis spraying away. It's 12-7. 5 in a row for Gen G. Well, we're going to go all the way to Breeze.
Yeah, they were so ready for that. Had the utility available to play the retake on C if they needed to. So Zelsis' only play was to just get out of there. They had 4 players ready for the B site, and the second the Nightfall goes in, Zekken, he can smell his opponents. He can sense the blood in the water and gets himself a couple of headshots easily. 5 rounds in a row now, and that's exactly what Gen G need on the other side to take us to overtime. Feels unlikely with how clean this has been for Sentinels. And already they're getting the early read. The spam almost gets the opener.
Oh, it's going to. Because after you spam that, you spam this wall, and Karen's right there. The bullets get very close, but not close enough. Zelsis is now back on the site, reloading as pressure's applied. The door is open, but all the while Texture is creeping his way towards the stairs. 2 players spotted, 1 up close, and even suspecting 1 near the switch. Zelsis has a lot of information. Oh, and even the kill on Lakia. The blind fire pays off. Karen's in danger too. He was getting sprayed at. All the while, they're just hoping that on the side of Gen G, somebody, look on Sentinels will make a mistake.
Look where Zekken is. Still waiting. He's pushed all the way up, so he knows that they're not going back in this direction. I like this, though. The adaptation that maybe Sentinels aren't expecting. Never mind. Sassy makes the play, but gets caught out. Even still, though, Meteor's found another. Somehow this round has become competitive. 30 seconds left on the clock. They still have themselves a lockdown available. The spam might actually just about get rid of it. It's still online, at least for now, surviving an extra second, and they haven't been able to put the pressure on. Tens has got another. John QT with 1 more. Leaves it all up to Karen. He's on 1 HP. And through the smoke, John QT will close it. We're getting the map 3 we desired, as both teams will win their opponent's map choice.
Convincingly at that 13-7 for Sentinels. They came in with control and they never let go. It was a close fight all the way up to that 7-8 scoreline, and then they ran away with it. Gorgeous play from the Sentinel side, and we saw the resurgence of so many players. Zekken finishing 23-10. This is a good sign for what's to come. Breeze, map 3 to close this one out and send 1 team to the grand final. It's coming up after this.
Gagalkan map pick ini. Ini gue kira bakal pusat langsung, cuy. Tapi masih mau ketiga ya. Feel alive. I'm dying to feel.
Don't let them get in your way. Some things just won't go away. They say let your mind be free. Just know that you can't stop me. I am something to believe in. I don't sing songs, I scream them. There isn't a day that goes by that I'm dying to feel alive. I'm dying to feel alive. I'm dying to feel.
With this white-hot crowd here in the Madrid arena, the Sentinels managed to force that map 3, and what a way to do so. Zelsis had to pray to a Norse god, and then he just went brrr. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that second half, John QT was putting on a masterclass with the defense. Lotus calling something like 5 or 6 rounds in a row to win it there. They killed the lurker every round. Zelsis' Odin was holding A space every time, and the retakes were looking sublime.
I was going to say, great call in. John QT just said, Celsius, you know the Odin? Just spam. We were saying, like, the economy was so good. Why not buy a second Odin and have someone behind you that is either, like, when you're not shooting, somebody else is shooting, or they can reload for you and you just keep going on those plays because it was stellar.
Just
Not
wanna
only on
say,
A, also on C.
Real quick, I went to the back to go talk to Sideshow for a minute. I was like, what Sentinels need to do? He's like, they need to shoot back.
They
and
did
I think
it.
Zelsis
They
was
did.
like, yes.
And honestly, there's not that really much of a chance of a refrag if they can't see you, you know?
It's also so easy to just be like Odin go burr, but the way they use it strategically to punish the A pressure, to repush, the way that they call around it as well, you kind of make the joke of having another Odin behind, but they always had someone else ready to follow up off of it. It's another showcase
Not
of
like he needed
how good the fundamentals are for Sen.
Yeah, it truly was impressive there. Of course, so let's take a look at our Verizon high-speed moment of the match because we got to give some love to 2 players here, Sasi and Zekin. First, Sasi, for this brilliant player, I thought he was cooked at this point. Manages to whip that headshot there. Kukuka finds a second, and then Zekin, here you go.
I am loving this place because these are the kind of rounds that get you back into the game. Something that definitely, and just based off on the score that we're seeing right now, Sentinels needed desperately. But also, I wanted to point out that even Kaplan asked for a timeout this late into the first half, being like, guys, this cannot be the way. I think that he had a major impact also in giving them the keys as to what to expect for when their defense came.
Yeah, you absolutely need rounds like this when you're up against a team like Gen G, because they're like guaranteed to win at least 4 clutches a game, it feels like. But Sentinels can do it right back, showing us that John QT is quality tactics, but also insane clutches for everyone.
I couldn't agree more. But also, I mean, listen, I said it on Twitter, Zekin's out here making a case to be the best in the world. He is trying his hardest. hardest out here, as I expect him to, because this kid gives you 110%. But look at the output difference. Santissimo. That is
Santissimo, yes,
is
Santissimo
wild.
is at least holy. That first blood success rate is unreal. Of course, you know, the stats based off on a 13-5, and what we just saw, of course, is going to speak volumes of it. But the fact is that we were seeing a Zekken that was comfortable, that he was reliable on when this clutch scenarios came on to play, and definitely one of the keys to Sentinel's success.
By the way, Casual 75% first blood win rate. The guy was electric. I love especially the way in that first half, Sentinels was approaching the C site with the double dive between him and Tens. They're so good at getting those openers.
Wow. It's just another day in the office for that kid. It's just unbelievable.
He just turned 19, by the way. It was just like
Happy birthday.
Yeah, when I was 19, I was really trashing Halo. Meanwhile, this kid is out here probably on pace to maybe go to a final if they keep playing like this. But what happens here on Breeze, guys? Because last time we saw Sentinels play this, it was not the best for them. It was not here, and it was not the best for them.
Yeah, exactly. And we also have a Genji on the other side that decided to pick this map against an America squad in Loud and did not find the success. And then EDG picked it onto them and they were able to win that. But I feel like there were two very different matches. And it also relies on the compositions that we can expect from both these teams. Sentinels, or a very more standard note. And then Mimi, all the craziness that we see coming out from Genji.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we saw Sentinels play this map was in the match that didn't matter against G2 when they had already clinched playoffs.
They played Leviathan beforehand.
Sure,
and
but
got
even
there too.
that was months ago by this point,
That's
and they
true.
had some time in between. They had a little bit of time to prep. They let it through the veto. I think they can expect that Genji would have wanted to go here, so I can't wait to see what Sen has prepared.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about those compositions, not only, as you're saying, on the side of Sentinels, have they prepared something? Are they going to change some things around? They're playing with the KO. We know that they can be comfortable with that, but also thinking about the composition from their opponents, potentially having the Euro, having the Astra in this map is something that regionally you're not going to see anywhere.
That's true.
But it's going to be a third map here, and let's take a look at what comp Sentinels go for. It's the same thing as last time. This map, I think, is honestly a 50-50. It can come down to the duels, performance on the day, but what we have to focus on is what this would mean for either of these teams. Gen.G, in the organization's first international appearance that they qualified to, they have a chance to make it to the finals with rookies on their squad. And for Sentinels, it is a return that has been so long awaited.
Gen.G has been able to turn these things around. Losing their pick is something that they are very familiar with in this event, that they always win in that third map. This has to be the case if they want to make history.
The winner of this match has a huge advantage in the grand finals. This last map could very well define the winner of Masters Madrid.
This is it, folks. Map 3, and the winner moves on to Sunday. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's send it back over to your casters to close this bad boy out. It's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy, and our fantastic analyst desk. Just saw the results come in from the fan poll, Tom, and it looks like Sentinels are pretty heavily favored to win this.
Sentinels are winning a fan vote?
I
never could have seen that one coming.
I wonder if we can get the stats from the Korean stream. It might be a little bit different over there, but we'll see if that fan favor actually carries any weight. As we move on to Breeze, the final map in this series, the decider that sends Gen.G on the defensive side. They stumbled on the last with big plays coming out of players like Zekken on the side of Sentinels. Let's see what the Sentinel side has up their sleeve on Breeze, because it's not like the other two maps we expected a lot from both teams. Here, it's hard to really gauge expectations.
Yeah, and a lot of what we've seen already, the victory that came out of this composition for Gen.G was an 11-1 attack side, so we don't know what they've got on the defense. We'll have to wait and see. Zekken, though, already looking to take that initial space. Again, the utility from the initiators is sublime. Sets him up wonderfully. That shock dart has done so much damage. Zekken's almost dead as well. I don't think he's got anything else to throw at them, but they are slowly making their move forward.
Here comes a recon, just came back online from Lackey. It was used at the start of the round, now buys a little bit of space. Zekken down, and Texture emerging from the smoke gets caught. They know there's a player in the corner, and they'll look to isolate that fight up close. Munchkin does well to find another. The advantage stacked against Celsius, but the spike is down, and he knows it's not being diffused. Sometime bought, but 15 HP. One more bullet's all that's needed, and it should be only seconds away. With Lackey's third, Gen.G find a first.
Yeah, exactly how you want to start off on that defensive side. I think the expectations will be there for both sides to have the success there. And that's the thing, though. You're kind of facing off against what was a bread and butter comp on this map before. What Gen G's running definitely has a little bit more spikes to it on the attack side. That's the thing that I said. That shock dart was sublime. It almost killed off Zekken as well and ended the round. And seeing Lakia, as one of the players looking to get his redemption versus Sentinels from a long, long time ago. And we're talking about a ridiculous, what was it, 1,029 days since Sentinels sent Newturn to the lower bracket. Will they do it again? Early days in this map at least, and obviously for the side of Sentinels, they don't normally invest much into these rounds, and they haven't again. It's either all or nothing. They're not like a Sheriff team. They're not like, let's put a little bit in.
Yeah, we saw that right last map. It was the full force and a lot of success found, but obviously don't put as much stock in being able to claim that space on this map. And you can understand why. Normally, though, it's on the back of Cypher comps that are really hard to break through if you actually play diving on towards one site. This time, Gen G have a lot of reactive utility. Meteor can always get towards that site. Karen's got global util to support them with those stars. For now, Sentinels have claimed the space. They have got the plant down by the looks of things, and there's not a lot that Gen G had to push them out. Even the shock dart doesn't land. So a chance now for the pistols, most of which are grouped up on the back of the site. Good shots to start this off. And it doesn't look like there's too much being found, but you gotta look at the HP bars. Meteor's down a little bit low and emerging from the smoke. Yeah, Zelsis ran into heavy traffic, but Lakia is down. Another opportunity for kills here on Zekken. Low HP on Meteor, but not a shot to hit. And John QT's last alive. Hey, okay, 2 kills. It's not terrible.
Yeah, they do a little bit of damage. They get a plant. They earn some extra credits. Weaponry is going to be picked up for Gen G, so again, it's not really the end of the world, but I don't think either side is going to be particularly unhappy, especially with how Gen G set up. That was basically working off the retake. Now those where things get that little bit more interesting. And, well, the plant, in some cases, will actually have made the difference of having full shields, having full utility, which, as we know, there is an outlaw on the other side, so that will actually make a difference.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You know, the outlaw here, it's really drawing my eye how Gen G use it, but this is going to be the more conventional usage,
They're on
right?
defense for starters.
Yeah, attack side split, you know, we're going to have a conversation about that. But here, so much value. The whole map is just long-range angles. You can do so much damage. As we see, Sentinels have got shields on everybody, the full 150. Those pistols, weaker weapon spams, could be able to take him down already. Texture's able to pick up John QT. Lackey on another Karen Munchkin. Everyone's got their bite of the pie. It's just Sassy left alone. I mean, this is not a round that I expected Gen G to win, but to dominate? There's barely been any damage done, Tom.
No, and they're already looking at their flank. They know that there's a very good chance, especially now that they're starting to clear out the positions behind, that he will be somewhere towards their spawn, already pings on the map. It might even just be a scenario where we're going to have to wait the full 50 seconds for Sassy to just try and hold on to the gun, but again, I want to shout out the utility being thrown in from Lakia. He's someone that I definitely don't think always gets his plaudits, has some rough games individually, but his dart basically gave a free kill over onto the side of Karen. Well,
30 seconds
it is
left.
just going to be Sassy holding onto the gun. All 5 players looking to survive. Upgrades as well. We were talking about them having, I think it was a Marshal, a Sheriff, an Outlaw. None of those weapons are in play anymore. It is just the rifles for Gen G. If you're talking about a great start to this map, it really doesn't get better than this.
No, that is a boost to their economy if ever I've seen one.
10 seconds
3
left.
upgrades across the board, able to make it work with the weaker weapons. And you know, the funny thing is, the Viper Wall can be so useful. Viper Wall wasn't there. Viper Orb, same thing, not there. It's just straight up fights. Players spamming through the smoke, putting them low. And now they found Sassy after all that time.
After we've sat there for 50 plus seconds, waiting for him to hold onto that guard, and Meteor just goes, no, right at the end. But that's just disgusting. Like, that's the thing. That's where you see actually just the usage coming out of Lakia, and then also just the denial. Like, it's having that second controller. Like, Karen's just been able to slow the push by putting that smoke into position. And there you go. You got the Gen G watch party over in Seoul as well. After what was probably a bleak 2023, it is paying dividends to be a fan of this team now.
Yeah.
Maybe even a few people might have jumped ship over, but we won't call them out.
kind of feel like you did call them out there, Tom. I'll be honest with you. That's I heard a bus coming. I saw you throw someone under it, but there's no evidence left behind. That's you know, for Gen G, got to be one of the most successful rebuilds we've ever seen in such a short turnaround as well. I mean, to be at this stage, to have challenged Sentinels on split, to move to 3-0 up, winning out a low buy round there on Breeze. We've never seen a Korean team look this scary, and we've heard about them. Hell, I talked a lot to Achilleos and Paperthin back in 2020, 2021, 2022. I'll even throw 2023 in there. But now, for once, they were right.
I think the thing that's been most impressive as well is they have built this team of players that ultimately didn't have that success. You're talking about Texture coming from G, Karen coming from Ranked, but Munchkin definitely didn't have a great 2023. Meteor as well, expectations were high. Lakia came back from Tier 2.
Yeah.
This team just works together. Nice start though from Zekken. That's going to be an instant kill. Looking to try and break back with what is some weaker weaponry here. They may even look to try and go through the smoke. This is awkward now for Texture. No dash, no escape. They're not going to expect it to be here though. Not expecting him to stick around because now he has delivered them a rifle.
It's being guarded though. Lakia's not giving it up. They've lined up for the double, the triple for Lakia. John QT, well, he'll find one unaware. That's a rifle to be retrieved, but in comes Munchkin to close that one out. Nice and clean for Gen G in those last couple of fights. But the damage was done by Sentinels early on. Thing is, because of those massive economical rounds they had early on, they're not really going to struggle for that all too much.
Definitely got dangerous, but is this man again coming alive exactly when they need him most? 7-1 on the scoreboard. The comeback of Lakia may have been seriously understated when he made it back into a Tier 1 team. There are many of us who have been waiting for this for such a ridiculously long time. In jail over a Vision Strikers, and then had a long redemption arc to even get this far. Texture about to come under pressure, but he's not shying away at all. Maybe he should have done. Zekken's removed him and taken the operator.
A reveal there would have been huge. The spam through the wall after, but nothing to be found. It's a swing out from Zekken, confirms another kill, and Tens answers up. Finally, it looks like Gen G have been left in the dust here on the defense, and with Munchkin falling, that's confirmed. Karen, 1v4, the first is his. Pulled back a star, but, well, that's going to be quite a while before that's up and online. Trying to bait out the op, but he won't hit the shot. Snakebite up and over. If he's anywhere nearby, it'll take him down. But playing ahead of it, John QT spots him. One round on the board for Sentinels. They found their first on the attack.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes back off the individual play of Zekken. Definitely up there in terms of the entry fraggers, and just was happy to put that pressure straight onto Texture. Picking up the operator as well, just taking this round into his own hands. That's the value that Sentinels have in this youngster. Still just 19 years of age, literally just. I think it was during this tournament.
It's crazy to have that success so early on in your career.
And you better believe that contract is probably as solid as it gets. Again, they're just going straight back in for this play in towards the A site. And again, no fear out from Texture. This time he will catch it, but it's a player that can be brought back. It's going very differently this time around, though. They're being destroyed.
That's like one of the first A-site pushes we saw come out of Sentinels. Ult used by Meteor, human drone, aggressive op pick. They try to punish that op, and then they get swung by the smoke. They have a guy calling shoot me as well. It's never easy to play in rounds like that. Even uses his decoy as he comes out of the ultimate just to bait them even further. You can see they're getting hyped up on the Gen G side, and understandably, as they now lead 5-1. We're a quarter of the way through, halfway through the first half, and Gen G have their hands stuck on the reins.
Yeah, we've heard behind the scenes that in scrims, this map for Gen G has been going fantastic, even if the results don't display that. When it comes to the officials, they were confident. They were happy to take it here. Again, Sentinels, we hadn't seen it successful in Americas, and it's definitely not looking great here. Tech's just so aggressive in his control. They have to be using the drone just to force him back out of main. Shock darts being sent onto him, but if you believe that he's giving this up, you'd be foolish. And look at what's happening on the other side. Gen.G are already stacking up players into this B site. The read they have is bang on.
And there's not even an intention to have Meteor go somewhere else, rotate to A if the pressure's there. His gate crashes on site, decoy used. They might even think that's the real one. They do. Flashed on Zek and he slowed down and peeked out from the side. Munchkin wrapping to get a nice angle and he's found another and they still haven't found Meteor.
Allah.
He's spraying away, catching the jump up and dropping the spike. These players have to come out of the pit. They're getting a reveal. Meteor staying alive for now and he's up close to the pit. Knowing that they have to emerge from it to pick the spike, but they already have. John QT's around the backside, and he's coming right back into the safety of the pit to try to get the plant down. A flash inside, but it's all a decoy to push them towards him as Meteor moves around the other side. This is beautiful play. They're not even looking as he goes back in. And now the plant, sure, it's going to be found, but blinded up, he is stuck in a corner. John QT doesn't stand a chance. Huge round from Meteor on the Yoru. And an even bigger one for Gen.G, leading by 5.
That's the thing you love about this guy. Like, you've watched him play these Sentinels in such an aggressive manner. The operator on Killjoy in the last map, happy to run in 1v2s, use his ult immediately and clutch out. But then you put him back on the duelist, and you almost miss it. If it wasn't for Textra, he'd probably be playing it on any other team. This guy is so damn good. 9-3, top of the board. Sentinels at the moment, they just don't have an answer. They're coming back in with a buy, but it is one of the weaker we've seen. None of them are even remotely close. And almost all of them are either close or online.
Udah deket banget ya, Cok.
Here he goes again.
He's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. They baited him in. They thought they baited him in. He bites, but he takes it with him. Zekin down, and he's sticking around. Texture's not going anywhere. Eventually, he has to fall back. The flash is good. Was that a leg or a spam from someone else? Indeed, it was a spam from someone else. Lakio, who's now down on the floor. The ult used by Meteor, 1 spotted, 2 spotted, and 2 taken down just like that. They saw the final player. They know exactly where he is. Nothing slipping past Gen.G right now with a 7th round locked in. Sentinels have to be feeling stuck in the mud. They got 1 round, and this A site has not worked for them since.
Yeah, the problem they have is either they go for these direct, aggressive takes on towards the A site, or they lose that map control immediately because it gets pushed by Texture. Like, they have to challenge for it. The problem is they're not winning that fight. So there almost has to be a response. Mid-control.
You say, I own you.
It sounds like it. Mid-control has not been something that we've seen too much from Sen. I almost want to see the pressure put in because these A takes are just being slaughtered. And now we're even seeing the switch up of Gen.G putting Texture on the other side of the map. I think his expectation is, well, surely they don't go for that again.
There's going to be some Halls contention off rip. Lackey has given up the space. He was going to drone it. Instead, close the door. Shock dart close and the follow-up. That is gorgeous. But Sassy does manage to trade with the ultimate, and look who's coming through! Karen uses their own util as a smoke, walks up and surprises everyone. And the spike is on the floor again. Not just Karen anymore. Meteor's holding it. He's still got his flashes. Cosmic Divide, insult to injury. Sentinels are locked out as more rotations are coming through. Munchkin not even looking at the... He's not trying to hold anything other than Halls. They know that they can't go back because of Texture on mid, and there's 2 players watching for that walkout. Sentinels need a miracle to get away with this.
They also lined that up so that he can peek in front of it. It's a dual access ult. Trying to make their way out. The pop flash is perfect, and it's instant. Both players executed. Gen.G, after losing their own map choice handedly, have come back in like nothing ever happened. 8-1 up. I want to see a second pause coming out from Sentinels here. Yeah, I don't know how he won that battle. And like the flash, a split second later, I thought Lackey was going to be dead immediately, and then we need to talk about what he just did.
In through a Hunter's Fury, through a snake bite, through a smoke. Guy just ran through the whole opposition's utility belt and came out on top. Gen.G have got Sentinels in their pocket. And so I don't know what they can say. Kaplan's got his task cut out for him and Drew. Better be combining in a fusion dance of brains to get this one across the line. It's looking grim. And the best part about it for Gen G, you spoke about how they had all their ultis online. They've used them incrementally. We had Yoru pop his, Karen pops the Cosmic Divide. Still now, they have a Viper's Pit, still they have a Blade Storm, and they're about to have the Hunter's Fury back online. There's no way in which they're letting this slip without Sentinels running up against a brick wall again and again. They've got to be sensational to even have a foundation laid coming out of this half.
I'll give you one better.
Go for it.
In the last 4 matches, they won only 1 of them. And they got 11 rounds on attack.
Breeze, just on Breeze.
Yeah, on Breeze. So, if anything, they should be feeling more, and especially when you look at the composition they're running, the expectation is that they'll be able to cause chaos. You've got a double duelist, and you've got double controller to just basically create space for them. This is it almost seems like doomsday for Sen City. The NG have dropped a nuke on them, and finally we're going to see some mid control. I wanted to see this challenge for, but again, there's always another layer. A disgusting position that's not going to be checked. Even sticks around to fight, maybe goes a little bit too far with that one. Not able to escape, and because of that, it's just going to be the 1-for-1 trade.
The man advantage might not sit with any team, but TenZ has been tagged pretty low. That will stand to them in future fights. Not if it's Texture taking it with an operator, but he also has that Blade Storm. Of course, with TenZ online, that knife should be coming through fairly soon. It's just back online, and there it is. It's not caught them, though. Texture still happy, dash online in back pocket, but Sentinels are on the wraparound, moving in for mid control, moving back through mid, in fact, hoping the rotations have come through. There's an aggressive push from Lakia, so he'll be inside of main for this retake, not able to get past the trap wire. And on the site, there's only one man. All alone is Karen. Off the smoke to give himself a safe haven to play from. And they're trying to root him out. They suspect that he's in this position.
Oh, okay.
And Celsius has got him on the running spray.
It's whether they expect anybody to be in A main, though. Lakia might be the snake in the grass. It does seem like they're watching that position now. Enough time has gone through. Has to be an instant win on this battle. Otherwise, it's definitely going to become problematic in terms of the time. The thing is, though, in terms of finances, Gen G can definitely afford to throw some players into the win. Munchkin looking to lead the charge. The time, though, is ticking. Texture has already found one, but surely this round has to be going the way of Sentinels at this point. But it's more so, how many players do they come out with? The answer is 3. A solid hold after a huge hiatus from the board. Sen finally bounced back.
Well, as if I'm Cypher popping an ultimate. I'll take my hat off to you there, Kaplan and Drew. Good calls to change up the pace of this game. Look like it's a B play. Wrap back through middle, which is somewhere they've had trouble holding on to control with.
They've barely gone middle. That's been the thing. It's been mostly A takes, like battling to make sure that that control can't be taken. This time it was taken, but it didn't matter because they managed to get those rotations back through, and a good call from John Cutie as well.
They have tried a few times with John lurking around mid, right, trying to get up through elbow, but every single time there's somebody there ready and waiting for it. John did also get a little bit of space on mid, but they've seen the constant aggression. Camera up and watching this, but it's a little closer than you'd like to see. John QT gonna survive the round and rally the troops towards the A site. Good wall to cross in mid, drone clearing it out, and the pressure on. Lakia's close to the wall. Meteor's already rotated through, albeit he's only got, 0 HP now, never mind, not 40. But there's also Karen on the site, and they've managed to chop and change some of these fights. He's in a little bit of trouble there, but it looks like it's going to be fine with Sentinels crossing the site, grabbing the plants, presumably for free. Tag is received. Hunter's Fury is popped. Push up by Sassy.
Nice banget, Cok.
The one by Texture with 2 kills and a third. He retook it all by his lonesome.
The real Korean Jet ini, bro, and
Yeah, it's almost like he just completely ignored the plan. The plan was that Lakia would get a tag, kill someone with the Hunter's Fury, and they retake together. Instead, he kills the guy who gets tagged immediately. He hits the most disgusting headshot with an operator, and then just peeks through the Viper screen to kill the last. And the guy has no fear whatsoever.
Whoa, nice.
And well, for Solo, we've already mentioned, he may not be in the server anymore, but there is a story of redemption. Elise versus Sentinels, and more so TenZ. The MVP of that Reykjavik that Newturn finished third. His move to coaching was something that anybody knew and was excited for. Now it's going to be a more direct approach, straight in towards this B site for Sen, desperately looking for a third round.
Nice shot by Texture. That's 4 in a row on that off. He's making a highlight reel of his own, and still to be dealt with. All 3 players spotted. The info there. Bladestorm in the back pocket, sprays her in, forcing them into this angle. The shot didn't actually land. The Bladestorm only doing marginal damage. Eventually, Tens falls, unable to be rezzed back anymore, but Sassy and John QT keep it competitive, keep it in Sentinel's favor now. And they know exactly where Munchkin is. Snakebite towards the back. It might force them into Texture, but they go the other way. And Sentinels handle every battle perfectly. 3 rounds on the board at the half. It's not ideal, but it's workable.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary prospect going forward, but similarly to what we saw in the first map, a slight resurgence from Sentinels at the end. Of course, as mentioned though, you look at the composition that's there for the side of Gen G, and you feel like it's going to be better on their attack, which really is a marvel to look at, because they have been truly unbelievable, making a mark as the best team in Pacific, and they are very close to making that final.
Well, a big factor on their attack is going to be Meteor, so let's hear what Meteor had to say ahead of this game.
안녕하세요. 젠지에서 활동 중인 메테오 김태호입니다. 일단 저희가 리빌딩 하고 나서 제일 성적을 좋게 내고 있는 것 같은데 사실 아직 실감은 안 나지만 그래도 또 저희끼리 잘해서 올라왔으니까 사실 페이퍼렉스라는 팀이 에임이 굉장히 좋다고 생각하고 있는데 이제 저희 팀원들도 그 페이퍼렉스 팀원들 간의 에임 싸움이라 해야 되나? 저희끼리 그런 거 피하지 말고 우리도 한번 싸워보자 라고 얘기했던 것 같습니다. 사실 감이 온다기보다는 그냥 평상시대로 공격적으로 할 것 같으니까 이제 새로 리빌딩이 되면서 이제 팀원들과 친해지려고 노력을 많이 했고 그리고 팀들끼리 이제 각자 다른 팀에서 해오던 사람들끼리 모인 거라서 우리가 어떻게 게임을 풀어나갈 건지 이런 거에 대해서 많이 얘기했던 것 같아요. 그런 부분도 이제 저희 팀
This could be a big win if it comes through. Nice work from Meteor. 1 bullet left. And nothing being spotted towards the spawn. This means they know where they are. A peek out is perfect, and he goes back with the pistol.
사실 센티넬 경기를 자세히 보진 못했는데 사실 센티넬에 대해 아는 것도 많이 없고 그냥 이 선수가 뭐 잘하더라 이런 것만 알고 있기 때문에 그냥 센티널이랑 하게 된다면 그냥 저희가 하던 대로 하면 충분히 이길 수 있다고 생각합니다. 일단 저희가 한국 팀이라는 게 굉장히 자랑스럽고 그리고 한국에서 또 많은 팬분들이 응원해 주시고 있기 때문에 저희가 꼭 그 응원에 보답해 드리도록 하겠습니다. 세계 각국에서 젠지를 응원해 주시는 분들이 계신데 그 응원에 보답해 드리도록 하고 싶고 그리고 저희와 함께 항상 달려주셔서 감사합니다.
Well, Meteor says they've got fans all over the world. I'll tell you what, plenty of them showed up here to support them today, and they'll be thankful that they did. Got to witness history already with Sentinels challenge heavily, and Meteor off the bat. He is swinging with
What
second
the hell?
round. The man advantage goes to the team. 9-3 in the lead. Winning this pistol could spell the end for Sentinels.
Well, that's the thing. He talked about the pride he has for being that Korean team in this tournament. They win 4 more rounds, and they have got further than any Korean team has done in the history of the VCT. Right now, they've matched Newturn and DRX, and to do it on their first time out be truly impressive. The fact is, they're building up into an A-take. The re-aggression could be caught. Karen waiting, watching, not going to be checked. Looks for the second, but Sassy will take him down. Even still, though, it's broad enough for the rest of the team to make their way in towards that A site. Sassy hoping maybe he could hit something with a miracle shot or a shock dart, but instead, they're aggressing to try and take him down. Left on just 40 HP.
He has done damage to the other side, though. 68 and 40. Obviously, Meteor tagged up in the earlier fight. Munchkin now in danger. One of the few full HP players goes back, opens the door, and is going to try to bail. Snakebite chasing him down, but he's out. And he'll close that door right in his opponent's face. That buys a little bit of extra time as he turns around to the bridge, ready for the fight. Munchkin wins his, and Meteor, that's a triple. Sensational pistol round with Gen G, losing only 1 player. They're now 10-3 up. Sentinels, I don't know if they'll consider the Force. I think they'll play the Eco, but either way, it's not looking good for the #1 America's team.
He could have been dead within the first few seconds. And instead, he ends up burying the pistol round. The stories with this team. Munchkin, the leader, had so many bites at the cherry at internationals, never even come close. 3 rounds from a final. This would be his 7th international event. 9th to 10th was his best placing before this. To say that this Gen G side, this squad is special, even if Sentinels manage to run this back. History is already being made. For the side of Sen, it's not a pretty picture. I say they normally buy nothing. Well, they have a single Marshall in the hands of Zekken. He's had an amazing tournament, but he's got to hit some crazy shots just to give them a little bit of life in this round.
Even the one hit off rip, Texture's down to 76. Wonder how much impact that can realistically have once these players round the corner. It's Classics waiting for them. Decoy leading the charge, spotted by Sassy. He's ready for this, and there's the finish on the earlier shot out of the Marshall. Damage done to Meteor. He's actually going to use his ulti already, thanks to a fantastic performance in early rounds. He's already diving in. Oh, close, but that's a mistake. A mistake that Zelsis punishes and leaves John QT in a spot where he could get this done. But the first player lands the first bullet. 11-3. Good damage from the side of Sentinels. But Gen G 2 away from sending them to the lower bracket. And with players like Sassy showing up, we had a great first map out of 10s as well. Both of them fighting for their 3rd appearance at a Masters Grand Final. For now, it's looking like they're going to have another fight later on.
That's the thing. There's players on the Sentinel side that have been there, done that. Masters winner, the Champions winner. But right now, it is the Korean squad that are proving this is a new world, a new realm in 2024. The time of the rookie, Karen. Maybe the time of the comeback with some of these players. The thing is, though, Sentinels are not out of it just yet. They're trying to find a pocket, get a little bit aggressive. They've got the better buy here, but already not the greatest of starts. Sassy does trade, but he takes damage. Zekken's aggressive position should be revealed. He's going to try and play ahead of it, see if anybody gives him a fight, but they don't.
Oh, and there was cover as well, just in case the wide swings came through. That was through the wall. That was blind fire. Where is it going? Zekken, and Texture's got another up top, aggressive, still with a dash to play with. And Zelsis and John QT backed into a corner. All their credits on the line. This defensive side has a decision to make. Carrying 2 weapons forward wouldn't be that useful, and it won't
Give the man the S, bro. Give the man the S. What
on
the
his
hell?
4th kill, a potential ace to put 12-3 on the board. John QT, all that's left of Sentinels, all that stands in the way of this accolade for Texture. And what a time it would be to find it.
Alah.
John QT's making the right decision. He's legging it to the other side of the map, but he's not away. Not yet. Okay, Karen is actually going the other direction, so he might have just managed to slip through to the next round with this rifle by the skin of his teeth.
It is going to be an escape.
Don't peek
Unless
the
he
window.
goes peek it into the window,
Don't
but
peek.
I don't think he's ever going to do that. He's also had his cam spot them out as well. Not going to risk the rifle, but it means that the purchase that's there for Sen, 9 rounds in a row needed. We've seen comebacks.
Look at this.
Oh, what was it? It was the side of Fnatic managing it versus Loud. This is absurd, but this just shows the confidence that this man is running with at this stage. The Sentinels, it wouldn't be doom and gloom just yet. A lower bracket awaits them. Loud and PaperX play after this to decide who will likely get the chance. Zekken's going to try and get aggressive, but this time it's a B execute. They're looking to end this quickly. Straight into the site they go. Sassy has at least kicked it off with an opener. The spike dropped for a second, and Meteor desperately low.
But that doesn't deter him. He is still going aggressive and swinging into heavy traffic.
Kambing kirain bakal kena juga, Cok.
But with 10s on 5 HP, those pieces can be picked up by someone else. Texture, Munchkin, and Karen. History on the line, but still plenty of opportunities. The pressure won't be felt just yet. Snakebite up and over from Sentinels. They look to push some players on backside out of position. Here comes the util from Sassy. The swing from Karen is good to start. Another for Texture, and there's only 2 on Sentinels left. Sassy does well, but they need to get on this spike, force these players out into an open fight, and it's Sassy to look to punish. John QT gets it half, but they're both extremely low. The time is running out, and now it's gone. History for Korean Valorant as Gen G 13-3 Sentinels, an absolute demolition of America's #1. They booked their spot in the grand final, and anyone who faces them moving forward will be terrified of these new names. Players like Meteor, Texture, Karen. Unbelievable performances from every one of these players. 3 rounds for Sentinels, Tom. How is that even possible?
I don't think they're going to be playing Breeze much throughout the rest of the tournament, I'll be honest with you. And they'll go into the best of 5. That's the thing, though. There is still time to recover. It was mentioned by Kablan. He wanted that day off. He's not getting it. He's got to get right back to prepping. He's got to get right back to watching this next series, because the Korean powerhouse, the new-look Gen G, they brought back some risky players, some players who didn't have success last year, taking a gamble with a youngster, put Munchkin at the helm. 7th time's the charm as he makes a grand final with this team. What a performance from them. And this ragtag bunch of individuals has come together to build one of the best teams we've seen in a long time. They have already made history. They have matched PaperX. They have outdone DRX and Newturn. And now look to be maybe the first Pacific team to ever win an international event. They just need to win one more match.
They've already taken down tournament favorites, not necessarily 90% like the community poll earlier on, but certainly...
I don't blame them, though.
No,
Sentinels looked insane.
This is somewhere that coming into this game, we set the stakes. Gen
G
could win, but it will be close. This was a demolition, 13-5 and 13-3.
And the maps as well. Like, the fact is they lost their own map choice, but they smashed them on Split, which is the map we were saying the Sentinels are the best team in the world on. So this series by no regard makes any sense. A map that, as said, Breeze, they looked rough on. They just won 13-3. I don't think anyone's going to want to play them on it anymore. After, I think their record now throughout this year is 3-3, by the way. One of those includes destroying EDG and destroying Sentinels. Like, this team has proved they can improve, but more so, they have faith in themselves. They go, okay, no, we like this map. It didn't work last time. We don't care. We're going to go back to it again. And they've done that a couple of times where they've made slight changes, slight adaptations on Split. They changed from an Astra to an Omen. Took them from a pretty bad team on Split to an unbelievable team on Split. It truly is impressive how much this team has managed to adapt in a short amount of time. Solo, you're doing God's work. Munchkin, he's got to be in a shout for being a fantastic IGL, because he's getting shouted out by Lakia, who's finally making his name back in the scene. I'm so happy to see this team succeed.
Hey, long have we waited. We heard about Lakia for a long time. This time around, you know, I'm just looking at Gen G, a team who's been in this game from day one, May 4th, 2020. Almost 4 years ago, these guys put together a roster to try and compete, and they've never even come close to hitting this level. Even before today, there were accolades that they'd never seen. Now, though, history has been made. All the way back on May 4th, it was the Phantom Menace like Meteor they needed, sneaking around in a different dimension. He was so fun to watch play. Texture's insane. But Lakia finally reaching that top level. This is what I wanted to see, and now I want to hear from Lakia. Let's toss it over to the stage.
Muchas gracias, Uli, que te estaba escuchando. Congratulations. Let's give it up for Gen G one more time. I'm joined here with Lakia and Jen for some translation. Now, my first question is going to be, you, of course, have made it into playoffs in previous international events, but this is the first time that you're going to be in the grand final. I want you to tell me what makes this team such a good contender for winning the first trophy.
라키아 선수 그동안 국제전에서 결승전에 진출한 건 이번이 처음이잖아요. 젠지의 어떤 점이 결승전에서 잘해서 우승까지 가져갈 수 있을 거라고 생각하시나요?
일단 저희 팀이 오늘 나왔던 실수 정도만 좀 줄이면은 좋은 결과를 낼 수 있을 거라고 생각을 하고요. 네, 그리고 저희끼리의 믿음으로 좋은 경기를 준비할 수 있도록 해야 할 것 같아요.
The fact that we believe in ourselves, and if we just clean up some of the mistakes, make sure that mistakes don't happen, I think we have a great chance at winning everything.
Bueno, le he preguntado que después de toda la carrera que él tiene, que sí que ha llegado a playoffs alguna vez, pero nunca a la final. ¿Qué es lo que hace que este equipo del Pacífico sea tan bueno y que consiga tan buenos resultados? Dice que lo único que tienen que hacer es limpiar un poco de esos errores que cometen y que de verdad creen en ellos mismos. Now, my next question is going to be about the opponents that you faced. Of course, you have already won against all of the opponents that you have left here in the tournament, but you most likely take it to that last and third map. What are the biggest hurdles that you want to brush off for the grand final?
일단 젠지가 그동안 2대1 경기를 많이 해왔잖아요. 풀세트 경기를 하면서 좀 힘든 여정이기도 하는데 결승전을 앞두고 좀 어떤 점을 고치면 좋겠다고 생각하시나요?
일단 앞서 말했다시피 저희끼리의 실수를 좀 줄여야 될 것 같고요. 그리고 이제 저희가 어떻게 보면 많은 영상들이 나온 만큼 저희끼리의 이제 피드백을 통해서 더 고쳐야 될 부분도 만들어야 될 것 같고 추가해야 할 부분도 이제 감독, 코치 그리고 선수들과 함께 상의를 해봐야 될 것 같아요.
Well, the first thing would be the fact that there's a lot of VODs on us, but which is good for us as well because we can go review them and make sure we make the adjustments that are necessary, add to our game, build on top of that, and just, you know, not making mistakes and making sure that we don't drop the ball and we keep the momentum going. So we'll just head back to the hotel and have a little talk with the coaching staff and our teammates.
Okay, lovely. Le he preguntado que sus series siempre se van al tercer mapa, bueno, casi siempre, pero consiguen ganar. ¿Qué es lo que van a intentar limpiar, ¿no? Para esa final, para que tengan esa ventaja y puedan ganar? Dice que una de las cosas que pasan es que hay muchísimas bots en ellos, tienen los oponentes muchísimas repeticiones para poder sacar esas conclusiones, pero dice que ellos también los tienen y que ahora mismo se van a ir al hotel a darle una vuelta, a revisarlo absolutamente todo. Well, thank you guys very much. We'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you, Jen. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Esperad un momento porque desde luego que no nos vamos. Tenemos otro partido por delante. Don't go anywhere because Paper Rex versus Loud is on the other side.
A grand final spot is on the line as well as history. For Sentinels, it's about going back to championship form, and for Gen G, it's about Gen G establishing themselves as a top-tier team in VALORANT. Yo, what are you doing, guys? Wake up! It's leaving Meteor alone. The snake bite landed by Meteor. The clock is running down. Munchkin late flanks up through heaven. And the classic bites awkward. And an opportunity to trade it back further. It's huge from Texture. Completely bamboozling them. It's done on the spot, Karen, as well to find one. And there's the follow-up. Hello, guys. Meteor the first to take it. And he won't stop. And it's done just like that. A devastating start to this series for Sentinels. Could just be two away. There you go. Oh, what is that? He's waiting for someone to go for the bomb. They've done it right. He's able to drop two. Surely it's two. Slates one the second. Right into his crosshair. I have time for the rotation. Sat at the back with the Odin in hand. Aja! John QT with one more. And through the smoke, John QT will close it. We're getting the map 3 we desired. Black is not giving it up. They've lined up for the triple. And two taken down just like that. They saw the final player. Received. Hunter's Fury is popped. Push up by Sassy. And a headshot angle. One by Texture with two left and a third. Whoa, nice. The time is running out and now it's gone. History for Korean VALORANT as Gen G 13-3 Sentinels. An absolute demolition of America's #1.
lemes cok. 27. Bagi. Masa cok. Lemes langsung. Coba bikin tangan langsung lemes.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Air enak. Bawanya air tuh curang kan. Pakai ini. Oh, nggak kedengeran ya? Oh, ini kedengeran emang pas ngomong itu masuk cok. Beres bisa lah, laut mah gampang, sentinel baru dendam pak. Jam berapa ya? Mulai lebih cepat tuh sekarang cok. Telusir dan lebih panas Madrid. Sentinel dibully-bully dikulit cok. Si Philip dibully-bully, dibris juga lebih dibully lagi. Ya ampun. Tapi kalau Bris emang mirip dong di Sentinel dari kapan juga. Genji Karen best player buat kan. Taruhan.
The time August 2023. The place, champions, Los Angeles. Loud and PaperX, kings of their respective regions, meet on stage for the first time. PaperX scores an overtime map win and bounces back from a 13-2 loss and manages to take down the defending champions on a run that sends them straight to the grand final. Hello everyone and welcome back to day 7 of Masters Madrid and our lower bracket semi-final between PaperX and Loud. And this is going to be their second meeting here on the global stage, but I'm expecting this one to be fireworks. Hopefully PaperX gives us some funnies. Of course, I'm Golden Boy, you got Mimi, you got Kakuka. This is going to be a good one, Kakuka. I'm excited.
Yeah, totally. I mean, after the introduction that you gave, I'm kind of scared to say anything, but also the stakes were different in that time that they made, because as you were saying, it was the upper final, right? It was the upper semifinal, so nobody was going home from there. We're talking about upsets. We will be talking about form in just a minute, but of course, seeing either one of these teams, especially Loud after the standard that we hold them to, would be kind of a surprise to send them home today.
I agree wholeheartedly with that one. I mean, honestly, it's kind of crazy to see that, you know, PaperX, a team that we have really valued for them being a creative, innovative team. But this event, Mimi, it is really just felt like PaperX has struggled to not just find an identity, but to find a rhythm.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for PaperX has been like balancing the confidence, right? In these early interviews at the start of games, it really seems like it's not there. They're not playing like themselves, but continually in big matches, in second halves where it matters, they continue to step up and find that magic at the very last second. That's what brought them here, but what we're looking for today is really consistency from this team. But this is the match for PaperX to prove if they're ready to lift a trophy in Madrid.
Couldn't agree more with that one, Mimi. But earlier, Mika Fabs actually got a chance to speak with PaperX's Divide. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Hey Divide, what's up? What's up? How are you feeling?
I'm good.
All right, I like the smile, So Forsaken previously at, I believe, the top of Masters Madrid, rated PRX a 6 out of 10. Now that you've made it to the top 4, would you like to go back and maybe give a score again now that you've come this far?
I think we have to give credits to ourselves. I think now we are like 10 out, about 10, you know, 10 on 10. So yeah, I mean, pretty excited to play Loud, and yeah, you know what L stands for?
What does it stand for?
It means less, so means less coming for us again today.
Good luck out there.
Dude, that's a GV level pun coming out of that one.
I'm offended.
You should feel honored.
I am.
Feel honored.
I'm actually quite proud of him. I'm quite proud of Divide for that one.
But by the way, least confident, like 10 out of 10 I've ever heard. But it's good that he's at least saying that, right? We need to see the PaperX fired up for this match.
I mean, especially after what happened yesterday, right? And the way, not the PaperX looked, but the way that Gen G made them look.
Oh,
you know, we know that PaperX is all about the flashiness, the quick plays, and Gen G had a response for everything, but it is an opponent that they know very well.
I do feel like, though, we learned a little bit more about what Gen G is capable of today than what we saw. So now that makes me wonder what happens here with PaperX. Was that a matter of Gen G just flattening people, or is this a PaperX team that maybe has a little bit more to show here?
Yes, because I think in previous, yes, as in both are true. Gen G look incredible, but PaperX, I think in previous matches, we've seen them really push Gen G. That's one where they were making a lot of fundamental mistakes. Players were kind of going off, losing picks. They're taking the normal PaperX risks, but against a team like Gen G, with their structure and their firepower, they were ripping that apart.
Yeah, no, it's hard to put into words how just well this Gen G team is playing. I mean, we could probably talk about it all day, and that's why on the other side, you know, you're going to need some players to step up here, right? On the PaperX side, you're really looking at Munyet. This guy has truly been impressive, but I'm excited to see him go up against QCK, because I do feel like, Kakuka, that QCK throughout this tournament has grown as a player, and his stonks have definitely risen.
Yeah, let me get my strongly agree card to show with you,
go.
because it is crazy what we have seen from QCK, especially like the other day when he was sick, when he had to go to the hospital at the beginning of the day, to then come in here, play the way that he did, and especially the performance that we saw yesterday. I am very happy with what we saw. I think that we have to be very careful how we talk about that Sentinels versus Loud that we saw yesterday, because in the end, it was two very, very close overtimes. And a QCK that overall is feeling super comfortable, that has found his space in Loud. Many people have that question of, can it be better or worse than Aspa? Doesn't matter. He's his own person.
The similarities between these two, I feel like are kind of endless, right? They both had to fill massive shoes. Jing, the best Raze player in the world, and Ospas, the best Jet player in the world, on the other side. I mean, this year maybe. But comparing these two, both these guys have come in, and they haven't necessarily perfectly filled those shoes, but they have stepped up and found their own place in this team. Both got criticized a ton in their respective kickoffs in the early stages of Madrid, but in the playoffs, in the late group stages, where it really matters, both of these guys have stepped up for their squads.
Exactly. Like, probably the biggest question coming in from Loud into this event is QCK going to be a detriment to them? And I feel happy that all of that people can be quiet for a second.
Oh, for sure. I mean, honestly, if Sadok's telling me that this is what they wanted, I believe Sadok. Speaking of, actually, I'm actually quite excited to send it back over to Mika because we're going to hear from the Capitan himself, Sadok, as we get ready for this matchup.
He's good.
Hey Sadok, how's it going? How are you feeling?
Feeling super good.
Feeling super good. Love to hear it. So last time you guys went up against PRX, PRX came out on top. So what do you think you learned from that match that you think will be important in this one?
They're gonna be super crazy. So yeah, we're just gonna have to be super aware of what they are going to do at the start of the round and be prepared.
Out crazy the crazy?
Super crazy.
All right, excited to see it. Good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
These are definitely two teams that are going to be fighting here with very, well, unique forms, I would say, coming into this one, maybe.
Yeah, I think the last two matches for these squads was very different. For Loud, this was a game that came down to the wire. It was a second away from getting defuses. It was one clutch making the difference for Loud ending up losing that, versus a PaperX that's coming into this one after getting stomped by Gen G.
Yeah, so many of these rounds come to close to nothing when we're talking about Loud. As you mentioned, in those retakes, they do not go their well for literally less than a second. And time after time, it's not the kind of thing that just happens once. But for PaperX, I feel like yesterday, Gen G just showed every single weakness that they had. And talking about vaults and talking about what Lakia was saying in the interview, there's so much you can learn about how to exploit those mistakes in PaperX that is very scary to go up against Loud today.
Yeah, I think PaperX are definitely going to have to dial down some of these individual risks they're taking, especially if they're shooting like they were against Gen G. Big question to ask. Yeah, I mean, giving away those opening kills, giving away those opportunities is the reason that PaperX ended up getting rolled in the way that they did. Loud is another team with fantastic fundamentals. They will punish those mistakes.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like I feel like PaperX just really wants to try and like be, you know, ridiculous, and they kind of have to not do that this time around.
I love this lower third about talking about the pistol, because I think that is also a very important part of what is happening. Even though they are the two best pistol round teams in the entire event, for Loud, definitely yesterday it was not there on the first two maps. It was very complicated for them to push through all of that. Of course, but for PaperX, it was the other way around. They got pistols and not much else.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be fascinating to see how both of these teams compare against one another. But for now, though, let's send it down to the stage and bring out our teams for this epic battle.
Bienvenidos a Madrid. Eso no.
Loud.
No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. Le di la razón al que me quiso ver bien. Lo soñé en mi habitación y ahora en primera me ven. No te hablo del avión. Vine por mi cinturón.
PaperX.
No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota.
It's the unique and bombastic team from Pacific in PaperX going up against the well-oiled machine in Loud. But the question on everyone's mind here is, does that man right there, Sadok in the middle, have the plan to shut down a team that sometimes doesn't even know what their plan is?
Yeah, Sadok has done this before. He always leads teams to these top level events, but last time PaperX eliminated them. We're into the map select and we are starting with Ascent, which is wild to me. Both these teams play ridiculous comps. Loud was locking the Yoru. We see a Gecko from PaperX there. I think that this is a match of two teams with incredibly unique reads on the game.
I think that the surprise comes even before that. Loud banning Split throughout the entire year. They have been banning the Breeze, now coming into here. They ban on the Lotus. Definitely feels that they want to adapt more onto the opponent just to, you know, besides showing that they're weak on the map.
But PaperX also hasn't been willing to play that map, and they get rid of it towards the end, which means we get to land on Bind here, which I think is also going to be a really interesting map. Historically, some great calling from Sidak on that one. But that's been honestly my favorite map from PaperX's tournament. I love the way they play that Harbor comp. They haven't won all the maps they've played it yet, but I think they have some great ideas that are really tough to deal with your first time playing into it.
Can we get to 3 though? I think that's the thing that I'm wondering is, can we get to 3, or are we going to see Loud kind of do what Gen G did to PaperX?
I feel like for both of these teams, we have the question of if they're going to make it through, are they serious contenders to making it all the way through and take on Sentinels tomorrow, right? We need a convincing win for either of them.
I think that this map number 1 is really going to decide this series. I think Loud is pretty favored when we get to Sunset, but this first map, I could see it going either way. Both these teams have looked really good at times, have looked really shaky at times on Ascent. I think PaperX need to win this map. If they get to 3, I honestly favor them in this series.
Yeah, and of course, I think that fundamentally Loud should have the upper hand coming into this Ascent, knowing that is, you know, the more basic map in those terms. Now, if PaperX, like shenanigans, all the crazy rounds that they put, are able to disrupt that confidence onto Loud, I can see them taking this 2-0.
Yeah, and if they... I mean, look, I feel like no matter how you go here, one thing is for certain, it's that there's going to be just moments of absurdity on each side. Players are going to be pulling off some wild plays, but where I'm looking at here, I want to see if QCK is going to get rattled by a very aggressive PaperX team, and if PaperX, well, if they manage to find ways to kind of like wiggle around the brain of Sadak.
You got to look at the newcomers. You're talking about QCK. I'm looking at Munyet. What can he do in map 1? We're into the agent select, and PaperX is running back this double initiator Raze comp, and Loud have returned from the Yoru back to the Phoenix.
I like the Phoenix.
Who would have said, you know, that in 2024, no Sova, no Jet, this is a new way that Ascent is going to be played. I personally really like the Gecko and the Fade as a combo. I think that the information and the hurdling that you can do, all the flooding that you can do with the utility and how recurrent it can be, gives you an amazing edge. And I do think that Loud using the Phoenix here is something that can be countered easily.
This is a massive rematch for Loud. If they could beat PaperX here, send them home, have a chance to go for a run in a finals, and maybe get Sidak that second trophy, it would be incredible. But PaperX, they always show up at the right time.
Well, let's go ahead and get this elimination match underway and send it over to your casters, and they live for the drama. It's Bren and Sideshow.
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, there's plenty of it here. This is an elimination game. Loud versus PaperX. Without a doubt, one of these teams is going to be going home, exiting earlier than they potentially hoped for here in Madrid. And it's a weird one in terms of the expectations, to be honest, Josh. I mean, you're writing down, going over storylines, whatever, putting a large focus. But for both of these teams, feeling like maybe they've got something to prove here, but maybe not so much for PaperX.
I think at the very beginning, this is set up to be an explosive game. The Des pointed out that neither of these teams are playing meta, and both teams love to fight. QCK immediately has just spotted 3 people over towards tiles.
We got lucky that we didn't quite miss the action there getting into the game, because
both of these teams are so fast.
Yeah, slow pause as well, just off the rip, waiting for the reaction of PaperX. And look at this, there is that reaction. Loud wandering and waiting into mid, trying to go for the double setup, just swinging into it now with the fault line to set this one up. They want to try and take the brawl, and it's a delayed fight, honestly. At 1 minute, who can really call it? This is it, the damage now, finally. Bullets peppering through, and blind as a bat does not matter for Kawazine. There needs to be the response, and it's there. PaperX coming out swinging. Heads have been found here, straight to the cranium. The shots, that's a little bit messy. Still, the job getting done. QCK, last one standing. Players are weak, walking right into him, but he instant trade. And so a pistol round for PaperX, a highlight being focused on by the desk, talking about how much these pistol rounds matter for both of these teams. They're leading in terms of that metric here in Madrid, but it's PaperX who are the victors.
And guess who comes out on top throughout all of that? Being able to bail his team out of a rough situation from top mid. against a tiles crunch, essentially. It's Forsaken, the guy who's been clearly, in my opinion, the best player for PaperX at this tournament. I don't think he was during kickoff. I don't think he always has been, but he is right here, right now. Getting him online, getting something online, major win conditions in a match like this where we're expecting so much of this to be brawly. I mean, Loud immediately taking a gamble in round 2, going for a mid-exploration.
Might be caught by Mindfreak. I mean, Mindfreak only has the Sheriff. Plenty of shots. Rattled away. Narrowly missing the heads here. Snakebite dropped down, vulnerable. Gauzine's holding some util out into his hand. Doesn't know which direction. Flash through. There it is. The follow-up and double face. Might be cleaned up, though, here by Devi. Should be, at least. Nice reactions, yeah. Beautiful business. At this point, though, no real chances for Loud. It looks like to really win this round, but a good chance to highlight really how important winning that pistol round. And this follow-up as well is for them. I mean, PaperX and Loud with these comps, very ult generation heavy. They want to try and get these ultimates online their attack sites. They want to go for these big XX with them. They've got util. They want to dump it into these sites alongside the ultimates.
Yeah, and I think they're going to turn Ascent into an attack-sided map as well. It's one of the reasons I think that QCK's gone back to the Phoenix here rather than the Yoru they were dabbling with. They know the PaperX are running this comp without a Sentinel anyway. They're not worried about a Cypher or being able to get into the sites. It is truly a bizarre situation we find ourselves in. Very different from Meta's past when these two teams clashed. But they have been here through thick and thin, through all the metas in Valorant.
Don't get me wrong, I mean, PaperX have never been standard, even on Ascent.
That's very true.
They've been playing their Reina Harbor
They're
comp.
not standard on any of the 3 maps we have today.
And who knows which direction it's going to go into. Kawazin taking a peek and a wonder. Will get at least punished for it. Head taken clean off. Less. 3 peeks. Plays looking away, but a nice double face of PaperX, making sure that they clean up those mistakes. And now the smoke's dropped down. More exploration into mid. Only a stinger, so Forsaken can't quite take a peek, but will they clear this corner? The peek angle, Sadak might just be able to react in time. He's not going to push it. It's just holding for it. 2 years. Anticipating some sort of reaction there. Something now. He's in a forward, close position. Sadak lucky to be alive there with the util out into his hands, but finally with the Paranoid Ascent flying. Follow through with Devi. Watching all the appropriate angles and avenues of the plant down 2 versus 2.
Cover going out.
PaperX are going to be able to pull a lot of time off the clock here, even if Loud is successful.
Only in the smoke, flash around the corner, but it's an empty site. Fully evacuated. Wall up. This is cheeky. Devi now has to get a move on, pushing forwards. QCK half on the board, finds the first kill. 1 versus 1. Can he win it? It's a gamble! He's... Oh, has he got it in time? Just about! And that's from that half he got prior. Holy!
What a clutch from QCK. Now that is going to obliterate the Loud economy, because it was a bonus round for PaperX. But still, to be able to find the 1v2 there, defending the wall against Devi. Look, he comes off it just at the perfect time to be able to grab that one. But like I said, it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory. Loud cannot buy into the next. So despite the fact they get on the board, PaperX achieve their goals, essentially. And already, we're seeing an attack-sided operator come online for something.
He loves to pull it out.
He's the strangest Gecko player you will ever watch. Do not study his VODs if you're trying to learn Gecko in your ranked games.
I've been watching some old Kang footage.
Yeah.
They really do love to opt into it.
He's also got a vendetta against Dizzy. He tosses him away and doesn't ever pick him back up.
Contacting in could be spelling his own defeat and doom here. There's a judge. Close to the corner, Sadak. Real specialist with that regard. Here we go, thrash forwards, wants to take the fight. Stray shots flying through. Pellets for no kill. Only the damage being done. Munyet now fast onto the approach here. Have to cancel that off for a bit of info. Devi. And they have taken tree control. Looking to slip into the back here. Now QCK has a rifle and he's watching for this. No swings yet, just holding for the right time. He's might freak with that one, with the pause being called. I mean, PaperX, this is a bit of nuance being added into their own gameplay here. 2 left standing, double face into heaven. That was the real threat, which was QCK with that rifle. With him dealt with, it looks like a sealed up, done deal, detained. You might see some knife action swinging around. We won't make the London reference again, but listen, you know the deal.
For a knife kill, I mean, it wasn't even a knife kill, but for the knives to be coming out for PaperX in round 4, Yeah, this is going to tick all the boxes.
I think it speaks massively, I think, to their mentality coming into this. I mean, Alex did a fantastic interview, really going in deep in terms of the mentality of Paperex as a team. They were saying they'd be happy if they just got one win at this event.
One win?
They're treating it as almost like just a practice boot camp.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they've made playoffs, they're playing with house money. You might not think that's much, honestly, if you're listening to that as a viewer at home, but I tell you now, there is no team more dangerous than a team with nothing to lose.
Yeah. And a team that's readjusted their expectations. Oh, this is a great idea from Paperex. They're making it feel like it's full A main exec, and they've got Monyet so deep into tree already. Faking as if everybody's coming towards A main.
Rapid here with a Nightfall as well. Sound cue's cut away. It's going to be breaking the glass, and already in their faces. More. They know that they've got a couple of trails, so that's why the nade's rebounding under, below, sees, connects, but there it is. Nade just wrapping around and collecting onto 2 years. Too much to deal with. Rocket in your face. But yet, eager to really prove his worth. High and mighty now, one player left standing. You don't need me to say it, you can hear the crowd chanting. QCK.
I don't think he's got any intention of allowing the ace to occur. QCK's miles away from it. What a beautiful setup, though, for Paperex. I don't think Paperex get enough credit for the way that they set up some of their tactical stuff, because they move so quickly and so fluidly, people just assume it's very intuitive and there isn't too much thought really going on. That round, they're making it feel like a big A exec. All of the utility is coming through A, and Monyet finds the timing down mid. When you're a defender on Ascent, if you see utility being piled into A main and you're playing in like tree or grass, you are going to focus on A main. You expect it to be 4 or 5 people coming from that direction. And so the fact that Paperex have 2 going through as an A split, even though they're not throwing utility for those people splitting it, absolutely ruins this defense. The small adjustments that they make are lovely. But I feel like we've seen this team evolve over the course of this tournament.
They have, yeah.
I'm completely sure that Alex is telling the truth when he says that when they came into this, they were only looking for 1 win. And I was watching them in kickoff, and frankly, I wasn't that impressed with what I was seeing from Paperex.
No, it was very slapdash, you know,
Yeah.
they were throwing ideas into the mix. It looked like they were really just improvising.
And just to pull another quote from that exact same interview that you referenced in, Brett, Alex, the coach, said, "We have problems that we need to fix. There's too little time, too much to do. We've been carried by our individual performances, in my opinion, rather than good gameplay and good Valorant." But to me, actually, some of that incredible individual performance has bought them enough time to start figuring out what is working for them. And they get into a match like this, and I don't think they are underdogs. I actually think that both teams could win on any of the 3 maps that we have here. And it's so difficult to predict because they play such off-meta styles. You know, when are either of these teams going to be practicing for what the other person is doing?
Never.
Nobody plays like Loud, and nobody plays like Paperex.
Yeah. So a blistering pace to begin here from Paperex, but throwing enough nuance into their own game plans that it doesn't quite feel like the old textbook, the old documents being read out aloud. They've had that time now to reinvent themselves ever so slightly. Now, Loud, with that timeout, we're heading into the half bye. They're going to have time to think about some of the mistakes, the adjustments. Probably not going to be seeing them active here.
And I think one of the things that you're seeing from Loud is that they're very willing to fight forwards. You see the angle that Kawanzin is currently playing at. Think about Sadek with the judge, Kawanzin playing market aggressively. They want to contest Paperex and not just give them space. But finding those timings and being able to match the tempo of a team like Paperex is quite difficult.
Okay.
Especially if they're hitting timing shots like that.
Just off the cue of the flash. 2 players are left stacked now. Cad is being watched. You can see something. He's got his eye on it. Anticipating that there might be that reflank with a minute on the mark here for the round. Definitely time to play with. Definitely time to work around. But if they do walk into the Bucky, there is some level of danger here. I mean...
Sadak can't really escape, though.
No, but Mindfreak is way ahead of the pack, so I don't think he's going to get traded, and he isn't. So Sadak's still stuck here. Might have to use util. Nade drop down as well. This guy is now a nuisance. A thorn in their side. He's buying them time, and the mosh pit has to be committed. Force him out wide into the open. Still alive, by the way.
Monyet, he walked in through A main.
Okay, well, he's found that timing from the classic. Okay, a heaven position. 2 years. He's got his, and now it is a little bit messy and scrappy.
But
Words I use.
But Monyet lurked in through A main, and now Devi is lurking in through B main. So, because Loud are playing this composition, oh my god, what a shot. Because Loud are playing the comp without the Sentinels that doesn't play spread around the map, that needs to group up and fight and peek for info, PaperX are finding those lurk timings real nicely.
They didn't get ahead of themselves, did they? Didn't get flustered when Sadak got that initial kill. They managed to get themselves into an advantage position, arguably here, lit up a beacon pointing directly towards in a double face. There's no hesitation in the play of PaperX there.
No, I don't think that they were anticipating the Horn coming out, though. Forsaken being deep on the B site, they just weren't ready for that Horn lineup in the slightest. Bear in mind that this was a light buy round, so it wasn't the most danger in the world. That timeout that you were talking about, Ren, that Loud took, that's for the rifle round coming up here. Yeah. And we can see that QCK is going for an operator, so you've got the Phoenix op online. Get your bingo cards out. Did you have that one down? Phoenix op versus Gecko op.
There's no chance. Just no chance at all. Fast though, a lot of util now being dumped straight into main. Instant response though, that was a paranoia fragment.
Yeah, actually so much utility being used there by Loud because every other team would cancel after they get full 5-person hit by the KO knife, but not PaperX. They will still try to apply pressure to you, trying to look for that timing. So Loud forced to use more utility than you would normally expect, but just giving so much respect.
Did the TP. Must have.
Certainly thinking about it, wasn't he?
Yeah, almost expecting it now, and a call's been made here. Sadak, a re-clear into mid. Possibly some util to set this one up with the Prowler. PaperX going to be aware. Nade going wide here, but yet no one to cover! Kawazine! Disgusting work, and QCK would have followed through.
Here are the lurkers. 1-3-1 default for PaperX. It's on Mindfreak or something to try to find timings. The spike dropped, makes everything way more difficult.
Whoa, what a shot.
Yeah, he does find that opening.
Let's see if this gets work here. Being defended up into mid, crouched, tucked into the corner. That's Sadak. He's essentially alone in this spot. They've doubled up through main. Now he's grousing. He does find that angle and fight. So 1v3 looks just less and less likely. Yeah, it is running and gunning. Okay, saves the day there for Loud. Finally getting that second one on the board.
And Loud choosing to try to fight over mid. I think they're getting the read now. After the timeout, the PaperX are playing pretty heavy from mid. And with the Viper wall that Loud goes for, they have the advantage over fighting that cat kind of area.
Yeah.
You see where the Viper wall goes? Well, assuming that Les throws the same one in this round. And you see that Loud can double up with Tui's Sadak and try to fight over that area. Now, you know, yeah, there it is. There's the wall going down at the beginning of the round. A judge for Sadak, as is
tradition.
Classic.
As is tradition. Loves to pull it out. Big ults now being earned and built up here for Loud as well. Plenty in the war chest. A main control, B main control. Heavy priority here for Loud because they know how close PaperX are to a few of these big ultimates. That's a nice one. QCK punishes that one. Mindfreak usually going to be the lurking player.
I like that Loud swap it up. Previous round they were playing heavy for mid. Now they're playing heavy for the outsides of the map. And Sadak, he's used the ult there. I'm not exactly sure what pressure that was off, but he certainly thought something was happening.
Did indeed Forsaken. Oh my, looked all the way up. Does Kawazine even expect this? No, he's backing away. Silent jumps up though. I don't think Forsaken knows that he's backed away from the angle. He's waiting for time, honestly, making a lot of noise on both sides of the map. There's a Thrash and Munyet just making it feel like it could be present over towards any direction. QCK layers down with a volley, but a TP forwards to just get right past it. Devi slunk his way into the site, but can he follow up with this kill
Forsaken
here?
caught.
There's so much going on all over the place.
Yeah, Forsaken lurking through mid, caught though. And now Munyet becomes the other lurker.
25 seconds left. He loses duel at 2 years. Critical one at that. Even no gaps here into the play. Judge right in his face. And operator as well. The barrel practically in his mouth.
That is a bizarre round for PaperX. But you can see that they're very clearly trying to work their lurkers into position. It's just that none of them actually found any success. Alex is calling a timeout here and might want to readjust the game plan to have less of the lurk plays going on. But to be honest, look, Forsaken's got a chance of making something happen there. I don't think Kawazine knows that he's around. And if Munyet is able to win the duel against Tui's, these lurkers are finding opportunities, but when they lose their duels, it looks stupid. It looks like they were just destined to fail. But with PaperX's style, if they win that fight, suddenly there's a gap in the defense, and PaperX are very opportunistic. They do tend to exploit those fairly well. So certainly a weird round, not a successful one for PaperX on their attack side. but indicating a little bit of their game plan that Alex might try to adjust.
Good time to talk about Loud's expectations, I think, heading into this entire series, right?
Yeah.
It's a team that are eager to try and take that battle again against Sentinels, who have just been knocked down into the lowers.
Yeah.
So winning this matchup would guarantee that rematch. And
for the fourth time this year.
Exactly. You know Loud are eager for it. They've been shut down, put down the most recent 2 attempts. It was a very close series the last time those two teams played. So listen, they're going to be looking to try and pave that way to redemption. Bit of revenge maybe on the cards too.
And both of these squads had to retool in the offseason after losing a superstar player. You lost Aspas for Loud, you lost Jing for Paper X. Alex was talking about how difficult it's been readjusting to life post-Jing. Loud were nose to the grindstone immediately. Started in October, only taking about a month break after Champs, and tried to reinvent themselves, find this new style. And this is what they've settled on.
Hello. Brawl to be taken here. This is an onslaught approaching from every single direction, and nobody can hang on. Paperexon stand a chance. They're the ones that's supposed to be going for the WK.
And such a classic, great idea from Loud. You come out of your opponent's timeout and run a set play to steal the tempo. And they've wiped the floor with Paper X. An absolutely flawless round. You'll see that so often. It's a great idea. Your opponent takes a timeout. They clearly want to adjust something about their attack style. And you say, right, well, we're just going to force the fight to them. And they go for a bit of a tiles crunch there, punishing a very wide jumping by Monye. And ruining everybody over towards B.
Yeah, Paper X players left reeling.
Read them like a book.
Devi going for the glass cannon Vandal in this round. So the economy in a weird spot. That is an unusual thing to opt for. Been watching the Haodong VODs.
Yeah, apparently. And China gets wild with those. Strange economical purchases. Still, Prowler here setting it up. Disrespect by something. Look at this guy. He's up onto the angle. Doesn't care that he stand up. Hits it with a second shot. Finally, the second bullet. Dashing in with the satchel. And he's upset the aim entirely. Kawazine didn't know which way to look, didn't know which way to aim. Opens up the sight now for the plant. Post-plant positions of Paper X. Pretty sublime. Devi falling. Only chances here.
QCK is going to be ulting back in potentially with only an op to work with.
Dropping wall down in his face, Molly. Oh, goodness me. How does that one catch? Everybody's giving this up, it looks like. What is that? Hello. 2 years. Chasing him over extension. No, I don't think there's any chances. Listen, surely time is running out, but handing these kills just over to him.
And considering that Paper X's economy was not amazing to come into this round, these are not fantastic kills to be given in the other direction, but it won't make too much difference because we're so close to the end of the half.
Yeah. Maybe a 200 IQ player. Didn't see how close they were to the ultimates, but maybe they're like, okay, let's just feed our life away. 2 years has already got it. Let's try and build up ours.
What a way of entering, right? Monye skipping, jumping into the site, and the spacing perfect for the trade. That, coordination not quite as good there. We'll keep an eye on that.
Did him dirty.
Oh, you know the camera operators are watching for every one of those
Hunting
situations.
for it, yeah.
Kawazine set up with the Odin here to spam into B main.
Face your fear!
Early knife fall. This is an attempt of a fake, but the early knife gives it away. Only one tag. That's going to be onto Forsaken. So the goal of that really to try and make a fake play over towards A. Cut away to sound cues. Odin spam spraying through. They are getting absolutely destroyed here. Yes, something managed to win his one, at least through the main angle. Alter now with that showstopper. Wants to send it and let it rip. Rolling Thunder cannot save you away from that one. It's explosive. High octane action, but an adjustment there. Beautiful by 2 years. Really just expecting that reposition, and it's about catching the tempo and the timings here. Walking right into it, but misses the opportunity. 2 years. Jump spots, gets a bit of additional information.
Good patience, though, not trying to force the fight in this situation, because they have a player advantage to go for the retake. This is going to take effort from Forsaken and something to clutch this out.
Feels confident enough to use the Thrash here to try and clear his way forward. Popping up onto the boxes. Forsaken going walkabouts towards Tree, leaves it. Now 1v3. QCK's on the flank. Should be unwinnable. Blind as anything. Hasn't given it away, though. Still was holding the shift key this entire time, but if he opens himself too wide, QCK's already there. Justin, did he see anything? Not too sure. Call being made, jumping down, and there it is. The kill found.
Very competitive half that we've had so far here. PaperX have found some opportunities to burst into the site, but the more that they default, the more Loud are picking them apart, I think. You saw there a cute idea from PaperX, like you said, going for that fake play. But the exec, it wasn't quite coordinated as well as you would hope for. Certainly not compared to the previous round, where Forsaken was right behind Monyet on the entry. Perhaps lacking that fade in terms of the pressure that they put onto B. Final round of the half, chances to tie this up, but PaperX's economy in the dirt.
Oh yeah.
Compared with double op setups I saw for a moment there on Loud. They'd probably toss them on the floor, looking to play them in the early game.
A heavy stack of Loud as well. They can play over towards A because Les has got the pit down. Not being contested. He was assisted with an early fault line of Kawazine. Look at QCK, he's not worried about it.
No, he's not. I mean, they don't, you know, you would be a little cautious in this situation for some pop flashes through the smoke or this kind of thing, but he's not worried.
Nice shot, 2 years. Expecting it from the high ground angle. QCK. Ball thrown at them. Still, it's back to a multitude of players now, and he's got to try and at least put up that wall to try and prevent them from getting past it. 2 years repositioned, still with the operator, and it's PaperX who are the ones who aren't coming up with really any of the appropriate answers. Double smokes out to try and get themselves into position, but it's being spammed with the rifle at work. Hopes and dreams placed onto the end of the barrels, and everything stolen away from them. So evened up. Loud doing a miraculous job there, honestly, bringing it to 6-6.
I think this map is probably going to be a little attack-sided. I think it bodes fairly well for Loud that they were able to pick up so many rounds towards the end of that. It's a game of 2 halves there. Brutal. But I think the adjustments looked nice. 2Es with the operator on Omen ended up playing really well.
He's getting tremendous value, putting in work. Well, earlier we spoke to QCK just before this match. Let's hear from it.
Sou o Gabriel, mais conhecido como QCK, atualmente duelista da Loud. Não sei muito específico o que eles tiveram de diferente, mas talvez eles tiveram mais momentos dentro do jogo, conseguiram otimizar esses momentos e ganhar rounds chaves que quebravam a economia ou faziam um snowball de ult, e aí o jogo ficou um pouco complicado. Falar sobre isso logo depois da derrota é complicado, tô me sentindo triste, sentimento ruim, mas o campeonato ainda não acabou. A gente tem muito para mostrar ainda, então sem muitas delongas, vamos pro próximo jogo. Sendo bem sincero, não importa, perder é perder, independente de round. Perder por um round ou por 14 é a mesma coisa, a derrota do mesmo jeito.
Oh man, it's looking more likely. Finally fades away and he's back into it, but here it is. The follow-up. All the rifles online.
He doesn't have the time.
My God.
Eu não vim para substituir ninguém, eu só sou um novo jogador do time. O time se tornou um time novo, com novas formas de jogar, novas composições, então acredito que estou me saindo bem. Não sei se é confiança a palavra, mas traz um conforto por você jogar com pessoas que já lidaram com essas frustrações antes. Então a gente vai lidar da melhor forma possível. A gente já venceu times com esse estilo de jogo, então a gente vai saber lidar com eles.
Really interesting insight into QCK and his ideas. You know, he's coming into this team. Obviously, a lot of players saying, and a lot of players, fans watching it, saying, well, he's replacing Aspas. He has to fill those shoes. But no, he's talking about how they've reinvented the team kind of around him, this new style that they've come forwards with. And there's parity there between them and PaperX. PaperX have had to do the exact same thing, missing Jing, one of their best players.
But I feel like Monyet is filling in Jing's shoes a little more. They haven't adjusted that style yet. And that's probably one of the things that had the confidence knocked for PaperX, is that they haven't really figured out what the new team identity is. The deeper they go in this tournament, the more they'll be learning about themselves.
Yeah.
6-6 at the half. Both QCK and Monyet playing well individually so far. But Loud's composition is devastatingly effective when it comes to site executes. So I'd expect PaperX to be doing their classic style of trying to disrupt things before you allow your opponents to ever get into an exec.
Deep delayed knife. Monyet was tagged, but he did not care. Still holds his ground.
Interesting that PaperX have gone for a defensive wall that allows them to, you know, contest mid as well. So they're not worried about Loud's wall.
Giving up that presence. Loud now opting to just contact in through A. And it's an open site, it's a free site. It seems to be a bit of a read. Look at them, they're just fast on the approach. Maybe just hearing those sound cues out towards tree, but it closed the door in their faces. A bit of stray damage. Sadak is going to be safe though. Safe and sound, able to get that plant down.
They need reinforcements quickly. Their Paper Rex are apt to flood defend. Can't see Molest is still really far away.
A pause in the play, a bit of a break in the timing, at least taking one yet still with that nade. Now, does he choose to use it? Fragment. First wave of it being used out. Here it sends it. Paranoia go flying along with the Dizzy. And swarming into the side. Yeah, 3 players into hell. Anything to clear this one. Might have to just jump in. It's a beautiful smoke. TUS is using it to just divide up this side as well, and it's making it more than difficult. Damn difficult. Have on a defuse. Might make a difference. Paper X mind free. Going forwards. Right clicks. Away. An absolute bundle differential. Something running. A mockery. Straight through main. Plenty of time available to them. Beautiful. Flawless with the execution of that one.
I don't know how he's managed to pull that one out. 3 players in hell with the smoke set up. The spike is planted for them. Very clear game plan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. It shoots different.
Sale numbers up. Get the chart out, Leo. Get the chart out.
Why is there a dinosaur? Don't know. Don't care.
It looks cool. It looks cool.
Yeah, that's a nasty round from Mindfreak. Nothing more to it, really, is there? Loud had a game plan. It got dismantled by some right clicks from the Classic.
Sometimes it be like that. You
really
get shot, you die.
So again, Paper X being able to win the pistol round, right? They won the first.
Yeah.
And one of the things the desk was talking about, Kakuka was saying, that they didn't really get much else in their prior game.
Taste of their own medicine. It's not Sadak who's going to be receiving it, though, but Kaozin and TUS grouped up side by side.
They can pivot this quickly into a B split, though.
Contacting, punish for that. Could try and pivot, but not now.
They couldn't get away. They simply couldn't get away from something with this judge.
Chasing them down. And into mid as well. Pistols out now. Wants to take the long range fight. You know the players are tucked into the corner. There it is, cleared out. Last one to stand here. So an important beginning really for Paper X. I mean, again, we talk about these comps. We expect them to be attack-sided. Big execute, generating these ults. It's a clear game plan for both of these teams. Paper X winning this pistol and follow Pico. You know, relatively cleanly. I mean, the economy is flourishing after this. They can come into this bonus looking nice and strong.
Just to talk about how Loud got anti-stratted so heavily during kickoff by EG, part of that was a Cypher, which doesn't exist for Paper X. Part of it was a double Odin buy, which we might see later on in the half, so keep your eyes open for that. And the other part was playing disruptively before Loud could get into XX. I think this is a perfect round to go for that more aggressive, disruptive defense.
That's a lot of util, isn't it?
It's a lot of util, but it's all a fake. It's to make you feel like they're fighting over A. And Paper X already out there, looking to try to catch a reposition elsewhere on the map. Now Loud have just decided to slowly contactly clear this area, which is a serious gamble, but they have called the bluff of Paper X perfectly. What a read.
Not sure who that is on the team. Give it to Sadak for now. Nade into the corner. Devi almost getting spammed down, losing his life. But here we are. Another close plant situation. Loud will be getting this plant down with no real pushback.
Don't put 3 in hell again, though.
No, probably not. Playing up close, though. QCK in front of the smoke.
Careful now.
Only laid down. Backing away. Now, Paper X did use a lot of that util just in the beginning of that round, so I don't know how much they've got now for this retake attempt. The weapon is not too ideal either, but Dizzy does the work. 3 revealed and suppressed out there. Forsaken is just in their faces now. Still trying to double up into hell.
Against the judges.
Just pushing them back as well, and it's just random spam and spraying through. Paper X, man! Running them through. And still now to stick it on. Broken. Destroyed in the process. Man's there, ready to try and pick up the pieces of this fight. But Carry set the aim in time. Something dropped.
Little bit of danger.
Nah, sinilah kalah nih kan.
Pretty decent damage, considering that that was a bonus round. But Loud do come out on top.
One enemy remaining.
So he just managed to get enough kills from 2Es, holding out in A main, supporting the rest of his team. And so here we see 1 Odin being picked up for Paper X. This is what their setup's going to look like a little more often. That's over towards B main. Now, Les is usually going to be trying to take B main control, and the Odin's powerful there. But actually, we're seeing a fight on the exact opposite side of the map. He's so aggressive with the op.
Just takes it to him. And that's because Loud, you know, they're waiting for these right timings. And they think that they're ready for it. I mean, they're holding that with a lot of players. But something just too quick with it, man. Too quick with it. 8 rebounds close to the corner. That's Munyet hoping to catch a player that might have just repositioned there.
What I love about Something is he's so good with Gecko's mobility utility, the legs.
Yeah, I love the way he presses 3 on the keyboard. Pulls out the knife just to run away. Oh, he does it better than anybody.
Divide does not have a paranoia to play off here. He's got to rely on the Thrash.
Yeah, he's using the Thrash to trying to set this up here. Good return on the fire there from Sadak. Gets the trade-off at least, attainment into the corner, so it's slowed them down once more, but 50 seconds left into the round. No prior map control here for Loud.
Yeah, they've stacked everything in a fight over towards A main. They're losing it, and now Paper Rex have 3 players ready to collect.
Deep orb. Placed by Les. Trying to use this to try and get themselves into position. That spam, the spray, a few stray bullets, TP forwards into the mix of things. But listen, Munyet inside the smoke. Loud paving the way forwards here. It's brute force. It seems to be the name of the game, but only one player will stand. Sadak, the IGL, does not stand a chance there. Collected onto the position.
And this is a very classic round by Loud. They realize that their composition is extremely good at A executes. So they try to dominate A main at the start of these rounds with 4 or 5 players. And even if you know that they're going A, their comp is very, very difficult to stop once they send a big exec into you. But before they can even start to take A main control, something's already run out and got a pick at the very beginning of the round on their duelist player who has an ult to try to entry.
The tempo just at those extremities, man. I mean, it's a clear win con. And, you know, funnily enough, it reminds me of when Paper Rex played against Gen G in the regional finals. And Gen G absolutely counter-stratted the ever-loving sugar out of them. And they were going for the heavy extremity control because the comps operate in very similar manners. They were disrupting that tempo.
Yeah. And I think Loud's comp does struggle the more you force it to split through mid and try to take map control, these kind of things. It doesn't have, for example, a Fade or a Sova to be able to use drone utility or a recon to clear out close corners. It's much better at being able to get these big retakes, big execs going. Loud are skilled enough, talented enough to adjust the game plan on the fly, but they're always going to be limited by what the comp is good at versus what it's not good at. I think Paper Rex has got a nice read here. It's also great to see Something hitting shots, feeling aggressive, going for plays. Because I feel like outside of one awesome game against Karmine Corp, he hasn't quite been at the top level that I expect from him.
He's a very confidence-driven player, I think, as well. I mean, if you take a gander at any of the Paper X vlogs as well, you see it. You know, he wears his heart in his sleeve, actually. He has to be picked up on a frequent basis. You know, confidence around him, being the support staff and the players, his teammates. But when he has good games, you know, this guy is just unleashed.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Well, they know where he's positioned at the moment, and that's where you should expect the op to play. Many flashes to try to push him off the line.
So to try and defend the line as well. Bit of Odin spam and spray through. Jumping spot, you do not survive that apparently. It's a nice attempt and a nice clear runs, but still, as they're trying to swarm the positions, they're getting absolutely pounded with artillery. Lesto. 1 HP, man, 1 HP. And maybe more than a dream. He's managed to bring this to a 2v2. Doesn't have the spike though, that was dropped down a little bit earlier.
Look how bold Forsaken is. He just jumped up on the same spot with a classic in hand. 2Es? He's seen it!
Just altered up there and he just sees him crouched.
That's unreal!
Knee or an elbow, I'm not too sure, but it just pokes out here. It's on the other side of the map.
And he's thinking, how on earth have my team lost this? What's going on?
Just no shot. I mean, Les, of course, being a difference maker. Now, they don't know where Munyet is.
They have no idea. And Paper X are the kind of team to over-rotate a little on defense, so they assume that he's close.
30 seconds
now
left.
Munyet's wondering, well, where have they gone? Because if they were just on B, surely they would have got the plant down.
Incredibly winnable with how low these two players are for Munyet.
He could kill them both with one nade.
Exactly. The nade, and not just that, went away from the showstopper if he really wanted to try and seal the deal. Here it is. He's got a lot to clear here, but maybe gifted yet. Bit of that information. Pulls out the rifle, expecting the re-swing. Both the players are towards the back of the site now. A smoke. Drop down, classic out. Thinks twice against it, thinks second against it. Boombot forwards, that's gonna have to be broken. Nade, rebounds, out wide, and now he's just firing. Here's the rocket, talked about it earlier. Pre-fires in the corner, but he guesses incorrectly. And now he's left wondering, which way is 2 years? How did he reposition? Time, ticking, shortly getting away from him. He thinks he's behind the boxes. A miscom perhaps away from it. 2 years wins it out, and the Mastercard thrifty.
What a wild way to end that round. I'm really unsure how it even got to that point, frankly, but you could just see the mind games between both of those players. The less information there was available, the more it favored Les and Tui's.
Watch them run.
Just a walk in through B main. And this one.
One enemy remains.
Who ults into that spot?
Unheard of. Truly unheard of.
God, that's a face of
scary.
resignation almost.
It's a scary face, isn't it?
It's normally a little more animated than that.
Ngapain sih?
Practicing stoicism.
TPK
Mewing.
apa?
Not too sure.
Yeah. Either inspired by Marcus Aurelius or Sigma males. Yeah. Very similar, actually, very similar. So Loud now in a great position, right? Having won that round, it just turns the whole of Ascent, at least this half, on its head. Their economy is now flourishing, right? They're going to be in a position where they've got a good economic bank to work with. And they're also coming into this round with a huge rifle advantage, starting to get up to big ults. This is where Loud's attack side comp looks so scary, even though they're one round behind in reality.
That's when they start to come alive. This spot here, it's how pivotal that last round was for PaperX to end up winning it out. The weak goodbye for Forsaken. How much is he really going to be able to do here with a runner back facing him? QCK going to be making sure to clear all the available corners. Has a bit of util to set him up. Knife out, one to the cranium, does drop that one. Here we go, second go of things. Forsaken doing quite well in that position there, but only going even here, 4 versus 4, but he has more time for the fast rotate.
And everybody on Loud playing on-site post plans. You know, even if Loud are able to get this, PaperX can make it extremely expensive just by holding B main and the defense spawn.
Being cleared out now. Smoke propped up. Pre-firing up to the sky. Expecting Dizzy. Ozine though, now defaulting over towards the fold line, using that util to try and delay, but you are right, this could get pricey very, very quickly. Dizzy, broken. You're in there with the protocols, and now just Loud to realize they have to really just barrel their way through this one. They are being penned in here with the gun, should be favored. Almost nice with the movement there from Divide, but shut down there. 2 players surviving from Loud, 9-9, even scoreline.
And Loud keep enough players alive that they do still have that cushion to work with. Tui's can drop Sadak, and they've got a good buy going with some spare cash to float around. It's Loud's ults that now become an issue for PaperX. The more you let them get set up to go for example, the Rolling Thunder, the more difficult it's going to be. I'm looking at the minimap, and PaperX look poised to go for some serious A-main aggression.
That puts the pressure on Mindfreak, doesn't it?
Yeah, because as soon as Sadak calls that, they're going to be running into the pit, I would imagine.
Drop down, knife, spam into the corner. Mindfreak already dropped down to 50. Never mind, he's dead.
He's gone.
Finished. Dealt with.
And now, to be honest, Loud have no reason to immediately go into a B-site hit. Right? They know that PaperX are very fast on defensive rotations. They cleared out Gelato early. Loud can just pump the brakes here and allow PaperX to spread out a little bit around the map, or even force them into making a play that they can punish.
No commands. Smoke off the timing for it, just trying to block off B main here. Wally sent flying into the smokes available here, ready with the spam. Damage being done. Sadak barely alive, but does return the fire. Forsaken still.
What a
tucked
spot.
into the side. Yeah, but not going to be clear potentially, but faced by too many targets in opposition. This time storming into the site. It's going to be gained for them with that territory. Loud now reload of the Odin. 2 players left alive here. Munyet though has got us back to all the available players. Flash is really quite excellent, peeking through it. So now Loud taking that lead, 10-9. We talked about it, that danger zone for them, but this is how the comp operates, how it works.
And you can see the PaperX are trying to disrupt it. If that had been Loud taking A main control at the start of the round instead of B main control, then they would have had an enormous clash in Gelato.
Yeah.
And who knows who would have come out on top. But PaperX kind of gambled incorrectly. They were going for the hard read. Loud do tend to favor the A site with the way that they call their attack sides. And it just happened to be the wrong one. They were hoping that Mindfreak could hold stuff down on the B side of the map, and Les has got the read just inside his head. I think both of these teams struggled a little bit to be able to impose their will on the defense side, but what we saw from Loud on defense was that they actually found those rounds to be able to catch PaperX doing something. And we're not really seeing that when the sides are flipped. PaperX are going for a lot of early round aggression instead of mid-round aggression, and I think that timing difference has ended up being quite important for them. It's easier to read when it's just straight off the rip.
Yeah, it is.
I main Sova on Lotus.
I mean, honestly, there's worse things to play. There are worse things to play.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand.
Like League of Legends.
Okay. He said it, not me. I can hear cackling from the desk, man.
All right.
Elimination game.
PaperX are in a tough position here, though. They really are. It's about to spiral out of control. Forsaken's not really found opportunities to have his will imposed upon the game. And he snuck up to try to take fights. Grabs one, and he gets out.
Forsaken scot-free, man.
He's the player that's been the difference maker this tournament, and he wants more!
Oh, punished with the jump spot.
So punished for that.
2 players waiting for him to just make that kind of mistake with the paranoia flash over the top. There was a bit of a team blind, but on-site control for them, and now fighting towards Market. Something dropped dead. Difficult spot the PaperX are being put into here is that the fact that Loud are just getting into these sites, obviously it's against the half by PaperX, but they're not having to use ultimates doing it. They can save them now for when PaperX have a bit of a buy round, the money's back into an orderly and sensible fashion.
PaperX here. Again, the silver lining would be to apply enough pressure that the ults do get invested. It just doesn't seem likely, though.
No, it doesn't.
And PaperX's game plan has broadly been... Hello, we'll see. No, there's no danger here. PaperX's game plan has broadly been to try to stack one of the sites and just kind of hope that Loud are going there.
One enemy remaining.
And the problem with that is, if you gamble incorrectly, Loud have just got into a post-plant situation.
Yeah.
And not just that, PaperX are not playing the other side for full retake. They're playing it to still anchor with like one player. For example, when Mindfreak was inside his pit. Or here, where Forsaken is trying to challenge B main alone for a cheeky kill. They're on the eco. But if you're gonna stack one side of the map super heavy, you're kind of forced to play full retake on the other. And just rely on your double initiator comp. At least something's enjoying himself out there. This is the round where PaperX absolutely must get back in control if they have any chance of winning Ascent.
Need it. And group positions here. I mean, the Molly, maybe not 10 for that one, but just slap it down onto the orb. Paranoia, blind, nade, rebounds, and we'll clear out a few of these players too. He is timely there with a TP.
But Loud are going for a lot of re-clears, right? We haven't seen them go for big rotates around the map. PaperX are realizing that. The re-hit's coming through.
And here it is, rolling thunder. That will be a large
Divide dodged him.
I did dodge it, but there's a one-way smoke into his face. At least they deal with that, run it back. Divide, does he seek to try and disrespect this timing? Out and through, yes. The PaperX players still holding their ground and basically rooted in place. And Les is now going to offload the pit to try and get them through. This is a call.
This is an amazing ult if you're planning to rotate and maybe split or go over to B. It's not that great for going into site, but it keeps a lot of players on site.
Using a Nightfall. 2 tags. Here and out. Prowler sent straight through tree, wondering if that split's coming through. But now with 40 seconds left, Loud are happy to wait this one out, but which direction are they going to take it towards? A seems like the likely contender.
They've smoked for a B split, though, so Forsaken's worried.
30 seconds left.
He's had to watch and peel himself away. Top of mid, eyes onto it, Munyet. Paranoia settling in. Divide inside the smoke, wants to rule that position and take names away from them.
What?
Picked up. He's right behind them.
What?
What is that kind of play? Still, heads are falling and so are the bodies. Toppling down. Time working against them now over the top and running around. Oh my God.
That is the most important round, though, that PaperX could have secured in that moment. They got the read that it was over towards A. They're starting to figure out how Sadak's calling the attack side. Do you remember earlier on in this game, PaperX were throwing huge utility into A main and then rotating away, expecting Loud to pivot, do not want to hit a heavy site. And because Sadak's been going for re-clears and re-hits so often, PaperX had stacked so heavily on that area. Now, if that has got to be Alex's reaction to 2E's making the play, because he had that one moment of despair and didn't follow up on it. 2E's is actually ready to counter-op something in B main. But something, for whatever reason, has got those tingles on the back of his neck. He knows it's not a great idea, but he's starting to creep a little closer.
Fuse has been spotted, tucked to the corner now. It is Omen, he can reposition here, but sets him up onto the line nevertheless, but now he's going to back away and respect it. Important to note, you know, we talked about it that previous round, but Loud did end up using 2 or 3 ultimates, something. Wall up in his face, contact plays, and he's out of there. Backing away, covering fire from Forsaken. Making sure the evacuation goes off without a hitch. Walking straight into the line of sight. It's something who's sniping them away, and precision across the board for PaperX. Wiping out the opposition.
Awesome round. This has really turned the tables. It's only Cowanzine left alive. They know where he is. Trapped in a corner. He's going to have to duel 4 players to be able to get out of here.
Util in the stun.
He's just stuck.
No chance, so 11 to 11. The adjustments coming in handy.
Yeah, looking lovely. PaperX don't try to contest super early. They've got like a slightly delayed op peek into B main, which is a nice timing to go for that. And they just catch this timing. Something is always a couple of seconds ahead of the play here. If he was a second slower peak in market, he might have died to QCK. If he was a second slower peak in B main, probably dies to 2E's. It's all about those tiny, fine margins. No hesitation.
Loud scratching their heads a little bit here, wondering how they can get that advantage. Now Les takes a load of damage off the rip, 61 health dropped down.
Yeah, it's actually one of the first times we've seen Les try to solo take this area, and he's immediately dropped.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a counterplay, I think, as well. Les usually throwing the orb from that angle.
Something makes it feel like it's the same setup in this round, which broadly speaking it is, by taking that op shot into market. And now it's actually caused Loud to pivot away. They do not want any of that smoke.
Crack of an angle. Devi turns away just at the right time. Flash in his face, backs away now holding the paranoia. Now there is no contact for this kind of play, so he's going to be backing away to the site and gives up control of Tree.
With all of this noise, something's getting on a more aggressive line, so if they try to go back into a B-split, it's going to be difficult.
Clear, just can't quite land the bullets. No way, this is overzealous potentially. Perhaps, maybe over-aggressive, but they're not expecting it still. They've sucked up that space right back away from them. Sadak, the sole survivor of a position into Tree, lays down the nade, but there's no follow-up. Flash now to repeat. It's a nice one, at least to try and cook up on the fly, but PaperX are online.
It's so reminiscent of their game against Karmine Corp. The late resurgence in the final rounds. It's looking excellent. Loud dragged 2 of the maps against Sentinels into overtime. Are they able to do the same here? The economy is not good. Their game plans through mid have been countered. But they were winning when they dominated one side of the map and went for the exec.
Oh, that's counter spam again! Les is trying to play it himself with the ult and they're disrespecting him!
The same plays working out again for PaperX. It's like they just run back the highlights of the previous rounds.
That's just insanity.
Forsaken spamming, as far as I can tell, the exact same line, and this time, Les goes down, something's feasting!
Little to no chance for Loud now, this map 1. It's gonna be sealed up nice and pretty with a bow on top of it. For PaperX, all the right adjustments at all the right time, but fuel to the fire just running out for Loud as well with his composition. They are struggling ever since they haven't been able to get those ults online, but Wingman sends him out flying. Quite connect, Kawazine seeking to try and pivot, but he can't break the door in time, has to reload too on top of this. And already something is there. Following the sound cues, jiggling out, baits out the op shot at least, but right into the judge. Now Forsaken, trapped in the corner, but it matters not. It's a 1v5, it would have to be the play of 2 years' career to stand even a chance in hell. The PaperX, a leisurely walk is what it feels like. happy and secure in the knowledge that they are just setting sail into the sunset, happy as anything. Map 1 entirely wrapped up.
A beautiful late resurgence from Paper X there, figuring out how to deal with Loud's attack side at the perfect moment. And Loud, I think, straying away from what was working for them in previous rounds. Going instead for more of a play through mid, trying to get value out of the Viper Wall and